And we're live. Hello all, and welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my sexy friend, Chris.
Hello, guys.
My gorgeous friend, Justin.
Oh, wow, stop it.
My magical friend, Mycl.
Whoa.
What? How did you do that? Do that again.
Amazing.
Wait, where am I? Where's my camera?
Yeah. No.
Whoa.
No.
There's got to be like a
Guys, this is amazing.
Wow.
Anyway, we are, wow, guys, this is nuts. But almost 2 years ago, we started Dragon Age on this channel for you guys and, well, mainly for us. And we are back tonight with Dragon Age 2 Part 1 almost 2 years later. So welcome. It is a monumental night for us. We are so happy to be doing this. We are so lucky to have you guys watching us do this, and we have had such a blast over these past 2 years doing it. And we just got to say thank you to you guys. We say it a lot, but on a night like this, on a night like tonight, we got to make sure to remind you guys that it's that important. He's getting in the groove already. You know our GM is ready to go when he's dancing to the sweet, jazzy tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do want to mention real quick, this is an 18-plus show. With all of our shows, they are 18-plus. We don't really know what constitutes 18-plus in our realm anymore because there's lots of swearing and lots of violence. So just a global be forewarned, don't let kids watch this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like, and please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, you really should, because that's what we want. All those beautiful subscribers. Mycl's magic depends on the number of subscribers we get. Ain't that right?
Absolutely. When you hear a little bell ring, I get my wings, or I turn into a fairy. I can't remember. There we go.
You got your wings and you turn into a fairy. And if you're following this on Twitter for whatever reason, go ahead and follow us back on Twitter. But most importantly, if you're on Facebook, and you really should be, go ahead and like the Facebook page, which is the INVICTUS stream, and join the community. The community is the place where everyone cool hangs out, shares ideas and thoughts and interesting anecdotes about their own RPG systems and things like that. So please join the group. It's fantastic, and it's a lot of fun there. I do want to mention real quick that we are going to be doing the mid-game post tonight, as always. And we are also going to do the MVP tonight, as always. The MVP, Justin, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that is if you're first watching this?
Well, the MVP was something that we came up with, I think, in Numenera, because we created the Facebook group, and we realized that a lot of people were posting really, really cool content and questions to the group. And we hadn't really thought about using the group that way, that we could have the community members, talk to each other. So anyways, they started doing this, and we thought, we should really reward these people somehow. So ever since that one game, I can't remember which one it was, but we've been rewarding people for contributing to the community and posting good questions and ideas and articles on the Facebook page. That's right. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. So MVP is something that you get, again, when you contribute. And this week, we are happy to announce that the winner of this week's MVP is none other than Mr. Kurt Simcox. For his new branch into his own YouTube channel called Arakan's Lair, I believe is how it's pronounced. I know, it sounds spooky. We wanted to give him a huge shout out because he has started something that he said he was toying with for a long time. He started his own YouTube channel where it sort of collects the best of other people's advice, as well as kind of promotes some of his own games and things like that. And to me, this really sort of reflected, in a weird way, kind of the impact that we hope that we have on a lot of, or some of you people. But Kurt, basically, he thanked us in his little intro video. He said in his About page that the INVICTUS stream has kind of helped him piece this together. So to me, that's an awesome, and really almost scarily realized reflection of what we did here almost 2 years ago. Starting a new page, jumping out, and just trying to do something fun. So good luck, Kurt. Well done, Kurt. You win MVP. Fantastic job. Now, we all know from these games that we've done, there's a big, long intro. But you know what? I want to get into the game tonight. We don't want to dick around. We're going to save that for future games. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to post on the stream right now the like this for XP and the link and all that kind of stuff so you guys can follow along. And I'm going to throw it to our boy, Justin Thomas James, to give us a recap of, I'm assuming, what happened last time. Might as well do that, right?
Okay, yeah. Let me just pull up the recap.
Well, I guess we don't have to.
No, I want to get right into it.
Okay.
There is a recap video available online where I do explain a little bit of what happened in the last game. If you do have questions about the last campaign, leave comments on the Facebook group or on our YouTube videos asking, "Hey, what happened?" And if it's a spoiler-friendly area, we will tell you how it ended.
That's right, yeah, because a lot of it might be spoiler-friendly, including this entire game. So don't watch this if you don't watch that. But you can. This is like Evil Dead 2, where it doesn't require you to watch the first one, but it enhances it.
Exactly.
All right, without further ado, Mr. Justin Thomas James for Dragon Age 2.
In a dense, dark forest in the thick of night, a boy is running for his life. Frantically weaving between the trees, desperately watching his step lest he trip and fall on one of the countless gnarled roots that jut from the dirt. In the pale blue moonlight, he blasts through the branches that whip at his flesh, ignoring the stinging cuts and welts that they leave behind. It's getting closer. He can feel it. A presence, sinister and hungry, gliding through the trees behind him. He knows not what it looks like, nor what it is. All he knows is that he cannot let it catch him. Ensnared for a moment in his fearful thoughts, the boy stumbles on a root and grasps the trunk of a thick oak to keep from falling. For a moment, he rests his face against the bark of the tree, tears streaming down his cheeks. Between his heavy sobs and crippling terror, breathing is all but impossible, but he manages to catch a few breaths before his instincts shout at him to keep moving. He dashes away from the tree and continues deeper into the forest. He isn't sure how he knows that it is deeper, or how he can sense which direction he needs to go. There is a clearing ahead, a vast field in the center of the forest. Though he cannot see it, somehow he knows this, and if he could only reach it. The trees move in around him, getting thicker and harder to brush past. The branches are getting sturdier, and his skin is slashed more and more as he presses on. He can feel the presence gaining on him as he is forced to slow down by the thickening tree limbs. His heart is racing faster now. His blood throbs in his temples. If he can just break past these last... Noel lurches up in his bed, wheezing as he takes a deep breath. His heart still races, and he is still drenched in sweat. But eyes wide open and darting around the room, he is gradually calmed by the familiarity of his surroundings. The warm hearth crackles in the corner, and the blanket that his mother knit just for him is strewn on the floor beside him. He swings his legs over the side of his bed and rests his head in his hands. He's had nightmares before, but nothing quite like this. It felt so real. He could vividly remember the pain from the branches whipping at his skin. Master Renner would surely want to hear about this one. Shaking his head, he goes to reach for his mom's blanket when he stops. A long, slender shadow darkens the blanket, suddenly cast toward him by the firelight. Nervously, Noel lifts his head. A dark, silhouetted figure stands before him, bone-thin and eerily still. He recognizes the figure as Renner's young elven friend who had been staying on the estate for the past couple months. But why is he in my room? Alar? Noel says, his fear and discomfort evident in his voice. What are you doing here? The elf slowly begins walking towards the bed, and Noel's heart begins to pump wildly again. He unsteadily pushes his back against the wall and begins to whimper, for he can feel it. The same presence that he had felt in his nightmare. The thing that had been chasing him through the forest. It was here now. Imogen's shadow looms over the bed as he draws nearer, and though his face is veiled in shadow, Noel is just barely able to make out a sinister smile and eager eyes that appear to glow a faint red as the elf replies,
I'm feeling hungry.
A horrid scream rips through Renner's estate, sending crows from their roosts and piercing the early morning fog that has settled on the city of Lydes. The sweet chirping of birds fills the air. And eyes closed, you take a deep breath, breathing in the fresh fall air. Grinner opens his eyes and gazes out over the vast landscape of Ferelden, which atop one of the high-born peaks of the Frostback Mountains, not far from the Emir encampment. Grinner looks out, admires the landscape. Harlan, for those who didn't watch Dragon Age 1, or just to give us a bit of a recap, who is Grinner? This character sitting there. What is he doing? What does he look like?
Grinner is a 40-ish-year-old rogue, but he was brought up in one of the biggest cities of Ferelden, and when his sort of father figure passed away, he slipped out into the night and ended up stealing from a local farm. When the farm owner caught him, an older man, he decided to train him in the ways of farming in an ignorant sense. He took him under his wing. He treated him as his own son. And as years passed and Grinner grew stronger and older, the father figure shared with him stories about his past as a marshal in the city of Denerim. And when the farmer passed, he bequeathed his heavy leather armor to Grinner. And Grinner turned to a life of adventuring. But it was through a local farm, not far from the farm he inherited from this man, caught fire in the night. And he went to investigate, and all that was left was a young boy. And he rescued this boy and brought this boy to his family in a nearby town. Grinner is a rogue. He is a honorable man. He tries to be. He is very much like myself. Probably more similar to myself than any character I've ever played. But he tries to do what's right, even if sometimes he doesn't.
And what about a physical description? Can you paint a picture of what he's doing right now?
One of the most important. Oh, right now. Well, Grinner also is missing a chunk of his lip. Part of the name Grinner. It was in a fight as a kid. It was cut off and it never grew back. So he's always sort of smiling. Thus the nickname Grinner. The only name he's ever gone by. But right now he's sitting up, sort of laden in furs and stuff like that, as he looks out towards the reflecting white hills. He's thirsty.
Mm-hmm. And as you look out, you can see Lake Calenhad spread out below you in the lowlands, glistening in the beautiful sunlight. And standing at the far end, proudly over Lake Calenhad, is the Circle Tower, where the mages meet. And not far from there, you think you can make out the castle of one of the lords of the Banorn, a man known as Perrin, though you never met him yourself. You believe that's his castle. So you sit there, restringing your bow, and you have a fine-looking, what looks to be what you believe is an elven bow, correct?
Mm-hmm. It was an elven bow that I received on our last adventure through the Frostback Mountains, actually, and it has sort of the weight of a long bow. And yet the weight of a short bow, but it hits heavy like a longbow.
Right. So you sit there, restringing it, polishing it, admiring it, and you just get the string across and bend it into place when the hair begins to stand on the back of your neck. And from your times following religion when you were raised. You had a religious upbringing to start, right?
Mm-hmm. In fact, the person who raised me in the city was the Grand Priest of Ferelden.
Right. So you learned through him a skill to tell when a balance was shifting, when evil was overpowering good, and when good was overpowering evil, and setting the balance off. And so you get this feeling on the back of your neck, and suddenly you hear a twig snap behind you.
And I spin around.
You spin around quickly. Do you draw your bow?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So you spin around quickly, and you see two children, two Amir kids, standing right in front of you. And the boy looks obviously startled, but the girl notices this and smirks and shoves the boy and says, "You're a coward."
And I say, no, it's not cowardice to show fear. Showing your fear just means you're fighting for something. And I kneel down and I kind of bring them over to show them what I'm doing.
And the boy seems hesitant, and the girl is also hesitant. And the boy you actually recognize, it's a boy named Daku, who is a young boy in the Amir encampment. And I will tell anybody who doesn't know that the Amir encampment is where Chris's character is from, but we'll get into that in a little bit. The boy seems hesitant, and he stands shiftily before you as this girl gives him a snake-like look, a sneer. And we're going to jump. Not too far from where you are, maybe about 500 meters down into the valley. There is a tree, one of the very few maples that dares grow as high as you are. And the maple is, all of the leaves have changed colors with the season, and they are bright orange. And every now and then, a leaf snaps off the branch and gracefully cascades down in the slight breeze. But as it falls to the ground, and as we look down on this leaf falling, we see a figure moving gracefully beneath the tree. Chris, can you just describe this character?
Under the tree, you see myself, Penth, and I'm moving in a way that you just assume is practicing techniques, exaggerated postures, thrusting a fist into the air, thrusting kicks after kick, and moving his feet in a very specific way. And moving under this tree that from the rocky face that it grows from, you'd think nothing could survive here. And yet this gnarled maple tree grows out of this really rough, barren terrain. And I move underneath it gracefully. And as these leaves fall one after the other, it takes a while, but you would notice that none of the leaves are touching me. Without even looking, I can hear the motion of the leaves in the wind, and I avoid them and sidestep and perform another technique. But the wind picks up, and a leaf catches me off guard and touches my skin, and a searing pain goes deep into my flesh. But I do not react and keep moving through the techniques.
So, who is Penth? He is... did you describe this already, or have you gotten into that?
Not yet. So Penth is a warrior, as all his people are, all the Amir are. The Amir have separated from the rest of the lowland people, the other humans, and they've lived in a way that has been rough and hard in this really rugged terrain. And they've done so for one, to get closer to nature and be back with the old ways, and two, to make sure they never grow weak. Having to struggle is so intrinsically part of their values that struggle makes you strong, allows you to survive, and it's all in preparation for the next blight. So they fear that civilization will make people weak, so they've kind of stayed away from it. Unfortunately, because they live in the frostbacks and where they are, the soil is so acidic and so stony, nothing grows there. So they don't really have any resources. But what they do have is their ability to fight. And so they are often hired as mercenaries. And I am one of those people.
Perfect. So as you practice beneath this tree and move gracefully, minding the leaves as they fall, with this, there's a potent, you've applied this potent salve to your skin that whenever it is touched by anything, it increases sensation and burns to the touch. So as you move there, you hear some rustling coming from the encampment, and you gracefully move your head in the direction of the sound, and you see two kids from town kind of jostling and wrangling each other as they move through the forest, acting very childlike and not very disciplined. And they make their way past you and head towards where you know Grinner has gone to restring his bow.
As I'm about to leave the tree to follow the kids, as I'm curious as to what they're doing, I strike the tree and I leave a mark in the tree. And looking it over, I thank it, seeing all the gnarled marks and all the grizzled bark from all the training that people have done under this tree, and see why this tree is as big and strong as it is, as it's just covered in these gnarled lumps and growth of the bark continually healing itself over and over again. I thank the tree and walk away to follow the children.
Okay. So, Grinner, these kids look kind of shiftily at you, and Daku, you know him. Most of the Emir that you've been here for the past 3 months, and most of the Emir haven't been overly friendly towards you. But the kids seem to find your presence refreshing, for the most part, Daku being one of them, because you aren't as harsh as the majority of the Emir, and you come from the lowlands, and some of these kids find this very fascinating, where a lot of the adult Emir view you as a lesser being. And this one kid, Daku, you've told him a few stories in the past couple months of the adventures that you've been on, and you've shared with him a little bit of your philosophy about the bow. And he says, Reen says that you are a coward for using your bow. And I told her that this is great dishonor that she brings to you, and that you're a good, honorable man. And so I would like to, if it is okay with you, Master Grinner, to fight her here and now and show her that your value and your honor is worth protecting.
And I kind of laugh. Not meanly, just sort of like kids. And I say, Taku, thank you for bringing me this great, the ability to defend my honor. I would hate to be called a coward. And what was her name? Sorry, Reek?
Reen.
More like Reek. No, Reen. And I say, Reen, you think me a coward? And I sort of say it playfully, as if like I'm sort of jesting with him. You think me a coward for fighting with a bow?
Yes. You don't fight with your fists. You stay away from a distance, and you kill without even being next to the thing that you kill. It's wrong and it's cowardly.
And I'm approaching the children, and I see where they're talking now. They're just slightly out of ear reach, but I can see Grinner. And Grinner and I think Grinner can see me.
Yes, and I actually see Penth, and I kind of jokingly, back to the kids, I say, well, even the mighty Penth has fought with a bow. Would you dare call, because they can't see him approaching, and I say, would you dare call Penth a coward?
And the kid actually says, one of them actually looks up and says, yes, I would.
Yes, the Reen, you know Reen as the son of Nokoro. Nokoro is a big, powerful warrior who just has like trunks for his biceps, and he's huge, and he's one of the most powerful fighters in the Emir. And he calls you little one in your Emir language, Penth. And this daughter obviously doesn't have much respect for you either. And she sneers back at you, Penth, and says, I could take you. I could take Penth. And I could take you too, Grinner. I'd stomp you into the ground.
And I sort of just like walk past her, and I walk over to Deku, and I kind of kneel down in front of him. And I'm just like totally ignoring her. And I'm saying, Deku, a true warrior cares not about what other titles others assign him. He does what he thinks is right. And that's all you need to worry about. Do you think I'm a coward?
No, you are an honorable man, and you are wise in ways that I've never seen before.
I
But
say,
it angers me so much that she insults you.
allow the anger to pass. They're just words.
But if I do not fight her, then how can I prove to her that she is wrong?
Be sure of yourself. Understand what you know. And let the others live their own lives. I do not define myself by what others think of me. And you shouldn't either. And I get up and I tussle his head as I kind of walk towards Penth. And being like, hey, did you see what that bitch just said about you?
And,
I walk over to Grinner and I smile and I say, Grinner, you're not going to make it any easier, your presence being here. But
and I say, Penth, I came here to learn the ways of your people. Not to necessarily agree with every single one.
I smile and I say, I knew that when you came here. We have lots to learn from you. Besides, maybe you should let him clobber Reen.
Well,
the kids have made their way back to the encampment, and you can hear the girl continuously trying to get under Daku's skin. And she's saying things like, he's just a filthy lowlander. Like, he's weak. Like, I'm telling you, why aren't you listening to me? Daku, stop ignoring me. We're going to fight you.
Grinner, I know you're very fond of that bow, and I understand now a little better. But perhaps you could put it away when we return to the village.
sure. I don't think I'll need it anyway.
For the most part, walking around in the
And
encampment.
then an arrow sinks into her back. Grinner's gone rogue, literally.
Shit, her dad is huge.
Run.
I
Sorry.
hope that happens. Does that happen?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I killed the kid
I built this entire campaign
around that one girl.
to do that.
I was hoping this one little...
She's the big bad. Watch that at the end, eh? She's like
We
the
should
one
have
thing.
killed her.
We killed her, yeah.
Hey, there we go. I gotta write that down. Reen
Great.
is big bad. We'll edit that out. So as you are standing there, kind of chuckling to yourselves and slowly making your way back to the encampment, you hear a bird flutter close to you and the caw of a crow as it perches on a branch close to you.
Both of us?
Yeah, you're both there.
Strange omen.
I take a look at it. Is it carrying anything?
Yes, and actually, Grinner, you recognize this crow. This is the same crow that delivered your letter when you received a letter last year from Gil to help you, or to help him and Renner go up into the Frostback Mountains. It's very distinct because it has emerald fleck in its wings.
I know this crow. And I reach up. I mean, how far is it? Do I have to...
Not very far. It actually hops onto your arm
Makes sense.
and kind of sidles up closer to your shoulder. And you see on its leg is attached a little tiny pouch, and a scroll.
And I tell Penth of this as I mean, this is the same crow that delivered the letter that when Gil originally recruited me to the Frostbacks. And as I say that, I'm untying the little pouch and I'm untying the little letter. And I take the pouch and I feel it.
Yep, the pouch, it feels like there's 2 coins inside.
2 coins in a fountain. So I take them and
So you open the bag and the 2 coins are gold. They're both gold pieces.
And
Which
I
gold
get-
is
I earned that. I take it.
No, but I give one to Penth, and I'm not. That's all. I'm not going to reference anything else. I just give one to Penth.
This is like a walk. This is like a stroll down memory lane here.
Just going to do that.
So you begin untying the letter. Did you give the letter to Penth, or you've got it?
No, I'm going to read the letter because I start unraveling it before we reach the encampment, and I actually slow to a sort of a saunter.
Okay, so the writing in the letter is different than the one you got last time because it's Renner's writing instead of Gil's, and this writing is almost illegible because of its fineness. It's such eloquent writing that it just it's hard to read, kind of.
It is tough to read, but I think I can manage. Penth, listen to this. Grinner and Penth, it has been but 3 months since we parted of ways. And already so soon I require your assistance again. It's the elven boy. I fear that there is something terrible afflicting him. Does he mean Imogen?
I hope he doesn't.
He started acting strangely a month after we returned from Red Hold. His appetite grew immensely, and yet he seemed to grow thinner by the day. He has also started having vivid recurring nightmares from which he awakens in a state of dread and panic. This doesn't sound good. He has seen several of my closest medical experts, some apothecaries, from apothecaries to plague doctors, but none of them have a clue as what could be afflicting him. I hesitate to contact the Circle of Magi for obvious reasons, which I would agree with. I'm writing you after a notable worsening of his symptoms. This morning, one of the Mabaris? A Mabari is a warhound. Oh, one of the Mabaris was found dead in its kennel. Ripped to shreds, its bones licked clean. The boy was found unconscious next to the dog's corpse. Since this disturbing incident, I've posted 4 guards to his room in an attempt to maintain surveillance at all times, but I fear that if nothing is done, his symptoms may continue to escalate. In desperation, I have reached out to an old friend, a Tevinter mage, who I feel I can trust with this matter. Are not Tevinter mages outlawed?
I start putting on, as he's talking, he's doing this, I'm actually putting on my garbs, like my traveling stuff that I brought with me, getting ready to go.
Tevinter mages, they're not bad. Apostates are the ones that aren't regulated. Tevinter are, but not necessarily under the Circle, which is a Ferelden thing.
Okay.
Tevinter's up north.
I'm currently awaiting his reply. I still, however, feel vastly overwhelmed, and your support this time would be greatly appreciated. The 2 of you are among the only ones that I trust will do all they can to help this young boy. A boy who you know is like a son to me, but more importantly, a boy who we all know has a good heart and who countlessly uses his abilities each and every day to keep one of us alive in the Frostback Mountains. He does not deserve this suffering in the slightest, and I intend to do all I can to repay the debt I owe him. Regardless, I have attached some advance payment. 2 gold pieces is all I dare send by the crow, but I will grant you more when you return to my estate in Lydes. Lydes. That's all. Penth, 1 piece should be more than enough to offer to your people as payment for your services. I have also attached a General Emir mercenary request that you may present to your elder mother for her records. Please send word right away. The longer we wait, the more we risk losing the boy altogether. Regards, Renner. Well, without a doubt.
Well, it sounds like Imogen is facing many challenges now. Perhaps some he's not even ready for.
I agree. And I quickly pull out my quill. My fucking quill. And I reply to the message. And I say,
Ben, put your hand out.
Pink. Blood. And I say, something along the lines of, yes, we will make haste. We should leave on the night because we should get some supplies, or I should. And whatever. And then I attach it back to the crow and I let the crow go.
So basically all you'd need to do, Penth would have to go and speak with the elder mother and, of course, get permission. Penth, you haven't actually seen your elder mother in a couple months. She's been on a trip into the lowlands, which I'll explain in a bit. But you'll have to go and speak with her, obviously, before. Now, while Grinner could be preparing all of the gear to get ready to go.
Okay.
And it should take you guys
to Grinner. I see no reason for the Elder Mother to stop me. She's quite pleased with how I returned last time from my first encounter in the lowlands, but it could take some time. So Grinner, could you prepare our gear?
Of course, yeah.
And I tell him about some of the places he can go in town or in the village to find some of the materials.
And I do that.
Perfect. So Penth leaves first and heads down the trail back towards the encampment. But Grinner, you turn around and take one more deep breath, looking out over the panorama of Ferelden, and something catches your eye. To the north, a great stormhead is moving in. And again, the hair begins to stand on the back of your neck as you sense that the balance of the darkness and the light is shifting once again. Jumping. It is a cloudy night, and it feels like a storm is coming on. Faintly, you can hear thunder in the background. But you gaze at the beautiful orange, bright orange harvest moon that is full and low in the sky. Through, and you can see it in its glory just behind the clouds, and also behind some iron bars that are placed in front of you. Imogen, you gaze out of this cell window with very little recollection as to how you got to this cell in the first place. Mycl, could you describe this character for everybody?
Absolutely. Imogen is young. He's a 16-year-old elf. He's small. He's 4'8", 90 pounds. Not physically very strong. Not all that intelligent. He's pretty much average in everything. He really is. The only one strength he's ever had has been magic. He's been able to touch and wield mana. Much to his dismay, he's always wanted to be able to heal and help people. But as he's working and learning on weaving mana, it always seems to be violent, disruptive, harmful spells that come naturally to him. He was picked up at a very young age. He is a by birth a Dalish elf, but showed signs of being able to touch and work with mana, and was picked up early by the Circle of Magi, where he was taken to learn the basics. Unfortunately, he just saw it as a cage, and it seems now that he's in a cage again. He's always favored freedom over confinement, and no doubt I will escape this as soon as I can. Because I know I'm hunted by the Circle, I often use the name Alar Brunwyn when traveling. I did pick up a few things along the way from my first adventure with Grinner and Penth, and one of them was also the ability to defend myself unarmed. Penth, seeing me as, I think you referred to me as squishy, little and squishy, started showing me how to fight unarmed. Now in the 3 months since, I've learned that I can't fight in the same manner as someone as physically strong as Penth is. So I've used my knowledge of anatomy through healing to figure out where people are squishy. And I hit the soft spots as opposed to just trying to crush them. Other than that, the last few months have been distant to me, and I do not remember all of it, and that troubles me.
And as you recollect on the past couple months, the door to the cells, the hallway in between, creaks open, and you hear footsteps coming towards you, and you see faint torchlight getting brighter and brighter as the steps get closer. And you hear a familiar voice. It's the voice of Renner. Renner, the man that hired you to go to the Frostback Mountains, the man who actually saved you from the Circle Tower by pleading ignorance when the guards searched his wagon that you were hiding in. And a man that in the past couple months, though you can scarcely remember them, you do remember looking after you and sitting by your bedside. A man who, being separated from your family young at birth, is the closest thing to a father that you have. And he walks down the hall and he says, I'm glad you could make it once again. Thank you, by the way. And he's saying this to this other person that he's with. And the other person doesn't reply, but eventually they get close enough that you can see them. And Renner stands there before you with a ring of keys attached at his hip, and he's kind of holding them tentatively. And the man standing next to him is he's wearing robes that you've never seen before. Very elegant, beautiful robes. And he's got slightly graying hair that is very well kept and a thin, curled mustache. And he turns to Renner and says, "Is this the boy?" Renner nods and says, "Imogen, are you all right?"
Yes, sir. What? How did I get in here, sir? Why am I in a cage like an animal?
Renner, Imogen, it breaks my heart, but I had to put you here. For the past couple months, though you may not remember them, you've been acting very dangerously. The other man pipes in. He says, "Yes, I'm getting to that. Yes, you've had quite an appetite." And the other man...
As you can see, I'm starving. Look at me. I've lost so much weight since coming here.
Imogen, you killed a boy.
What?
Just this morning. His body was found completely drained of blood, some of its flesh being bitten away. You were found next to the corpse.
Well, that doesn't mean I did it. I mean, I can't remember what happened, but surely you know me, Renner. It couldn't have been me.
I wish that was the case. But as it stands right now...
Well, who is this man? What is he doing? Why is he here?
Imogen?
Surely you can just let me free again. I can make it on my own, Renner. I can do it.
Listen,
I've done it before.
It's not that simple. Something happened to you in Blacksleet Tower, and I've had many medical experts look at you, and you've been having blackouts the past few months as well. And in these blackouts, it seems that you have had this appetite, but not just for food. You'll eat the entire pantry free, but then it's not enough. Then you have to eat living flesh like a dog. This boy this morning. I'm doing everything right now that I can to prevent the outcry from the other servants, and it won't be long before one of the other nobles and the lords come and knock on my doorstep to find out where you are.
So what, you're just
going
to keep me here locked in a cage?
No. This man is here to help you.
What do you mean he's here to help me? He's going to take me back to the circle.
Imogen.
The circle that you helped me escape from.
This is a man who is not going to do that. He's a good friend of mine, and the way I see it, he owes me a favor. And the other man, who kind of looks unfazed by all of this, says, "That's right, I do owe him a favor. And also, I don't like the idea of possessed mages walking about, so I'm going to do everything that I can in my power to help you. But I'm going to need to have to come into your cage right now. Am I allowed in? Can I enter your chambers?" Imogen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. And he nods to Renner, who fumbles at the keys, opens the door. And the man steps in with pride in his walk. He's carrying a staff on his back that seems to glow a faint blue. And he kneels down in front of you as you're standing. He says, "Boy, My name is Dorian of House Pavos. I'm a Tevinter mage, and I'm not... Well, I am technically a member of the Circle, but not by choice. Only because I have to be. And he extends a hand to you.
As soon as I hear that he is a Circle mage, I'm going to mind blast him.
Okay. Go for it.
Alrighty.
That's my boy.
Oh, there we go. So my target number is 12. So I got 9 plus, what am I, 7? So I feel like that would work, because I feel like that would be 16. And it is a strength might versus 17.
Strength might. Okay. So I will roll for him. He doesn't seem like the mightiest person. All right. So you concentrate and scowl, and the man twitches and suddenly is thrown back. And how much damage does he take for Mind Blast?
He doesn't actually take any damage, and that's one of the reasons why I use this one.
Okay.
All it does is knock him prone, and he can't take any major actions on his next turn.
Perfect.
And I just want to use it so that I can run free.
All right. So he falls to the ground, and you go to run for the door, but Renner already has it closing shut. And he grabs onto it, and he says, Imogen!
Don't do this to me, Renner! Don't!
Imogen, just listen.
Let me be free, Renner!
Listen
Let me
to the man. And you hear the man sit up behind you and rub his head, and he says, Renner, I feel like my favor is almost up. Will you control the boy? And Renner says, I can't control him. He's his own person, but Imogen, please, I'm trying to help you right now. I am doing this for your own good, and I wish I didn't have to, but this man is here to help you, okay? Please. And he gives you the most sincere look that you've ever seen in your life from Renner. I just want to talk.
Can we talk outside of his cage, out under the sun?
Well, there isn't much of a sun right now. Besides, I think we're safer in here. Everybody's safer in
Fine.
here.
Talk.
Imogen, what do you know about the Fade?
I've been there once. I've tapped into it.
Right. Clearly, you're a very powerful mage. I'll give you that much. Not many people, mages or not, are able to knock me on my ass like that. So, kudos.
Yeah, well, I don't need magic to do it.
Well,
I've learned from a brave warrior how to fight without that.
Yes, tit, whatever. What we're talking about is possession. Have you ever heard of possession? Do you understand what can happen when you tap into the Fade? The dangerous aspect of being a powerful mage, as you are.
Well, I know that we're seen differently by the beings that live in the Fade, and I know that we almost send out like a beacon, and they can sense it.
Precisely. But not only can they sense it, but they can move towards it. And if you are close enough and tapping into the Fade at the same time, then you leave yourself vulnerable. Vulnerable to the spirits that float around in the Fade willy-nilly to target you and try to enter into our realm. Some might say that the spirits are jealous that we get to live in our form and with our gold and houses and whores, but that's besides the point. While there are good spirits, there are also evil spirits. And sometimes...
What, you think I got one of those inside of me? Wouldn't I know that?
There's only one way to find out, Imogen. And that is a way that I will need you to trust me on.
I'm supposed to trust someone who's keeping me locked up?
And he looks at Renner and back to you and says, believe me, if you wanted to escape, you could do it. Being as powerful as you are, you could do it. But also, you'll learn much if you join me. I want to commune with you, Imogen.
You want to what?
Commune. Consciously tap into the Fade and leave this consciousness behind us and enter the spirit realm, so that we may consciously wander the spirit realm, look into your soul, and see what it is that is afflicting you. Because I can guarantee that it isn't something physical. It will be a great experience for you. And you'll learn a thing or two about how to do it.
Fine. Yes, sir. Fine.
Attaboy! And he stands up and rubs his head again and rolls his shoulder back and says, come, sit over here on your lovely bed. And he pats the hay bed.
Pile of flea-infested straw? Sure.
That's the spirit. This isn't going to hurt at all. It's just going to feel a little strange.
Sorry.
Imogen was so cheerful in the last.
I'm just thinking of like
Bend over.
Team America. I want to fuck your face.
It's not exactly what he's going for.
All right.
You don't know that yet. Roll for penetration.
Oh, is it penetrating damage?
I hope so.
Do you have armor class? Is armor class?
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Do you have an armor ass?
The armor class.
Armor ass.
So you sit down on the bed, and he kneels before you in a bit, or not too far from you, and he says, all right, Imogen, close your eyes. Now, as I say, we are trying to commune with the Fade. We are trying to stay conscious, but move our consciousness into the spirit realm, which is always around us. So with your eyes closed, I want you to feel your inner body, the sensation that is always in your toes and in your fingertips, but that we are so often not paying attention to. Can you feel this?
Yes, sir.
Thoughts may be racing through your head. I know you're angry, and you may be feeling emotion, and you may be feeling these fears and anger, but I want you to allow them, not to resist them. Let them be. And let these thoughts and emotions pass over your consciousness like clouds moving through the sky. And on the count of 3, I want you to open your eyes, and we will be somewhere else. Once you have this feeling, you should begin to feel it already. And he turns to Renner, and he says, Renner, there cannot be any distractions. All right? And Renner nods, or you hear him say yes. All right, Imogen, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Jump. 10th. You make your way down the path of the Amir encampment, and you see a number of different townsfolks going about their daily business. And some of them nod at you, some of them don't seem interested at all. But you've got one goal: to go to the Elder Mother, give her the letter and the gold, and ask for her permission to leave. And you make your way down, and you see the biggest tent in the Amir encampment, which is the tent of the Elder Mother. And as I was saying earlier, the Elder Mother's responsibility is to go down, one of them is to go down into Ferelden, into the lowlands, and meet with various officials and important leaders. And there are She's there for a couple of months, and that's where she's been pretty much the entire time that you've been back at the Emir encampment. She's been away, so you haven't actually had a chance to speak with her, though you did hear through the grapevine that she was pleased with how your first mission out on your own went. And you make your way towards the tent when you see a big, hulking figure standing in front of it. Now, you recognize
him as Dricano? Oh, Nikoro.
And he stands proudly, not even making eye contact with you. And you can see the scars, 3 distinct lines across his bulky face as he stares straight ahead, clear over your head.
And I walk towards him and I say, I have business with Alara Sagarhi.
Hello, little one. What business do you have with the Elder Mother?
The business is for me to speak to her. I don't think I need to communicate to her secretary.
He snorts. He says, you insult one so obviously above your status. And you can see on his arms, his bulking arms, his robe barely covers his flesh. But there are 2 distinct crimson bands. A clear sign of, well, it's the hierarchy system. He is a better warrior, a stronger warrior, because he has these bands. And he has reached the vision, the level of vision. There are 3 levels: honor, vision, and glory.
If you must know, I've been requested for another mercenary task in this town, and I would like to continue in my training in order to support our people.
So soon? You mean you actually managed to impress someone down there?
I try not to acknowledge his condescension as he speaks to me, but I look him straight in the eye the whole time. Yes, there are people who think that I am very capable and bring honor to my people and the white garb that I wear. And I hope that I will comes back with a crimson color showing that I've honored my people.
He scowls at you and says, a man such as you could never bring honor. And a man from the kin of your parents, the betrayers, you would never bring us honor. Penth arete o terel. He spits at your feet.
I have had to struggle more than anyone here, and I have much more to do. I will come back, and there will be honor bequeathed upon me, and you will see, and you will know the name Penth, not as a dishonored bastard child, but a son of Emir.
And you get the sense that you're getting to him. The fact that you aren't reacting the way that you would have reacted had it been a year ago, you would have.
I've been taunted a lot, so I've had lots of practice now.
So he is. You can tell that you're getting to him by not
reacting,
and he steps closer towards you and puts his face an inch away from yours, and says, "Penth, when I have my chance, I will push your face into the ground and I will show you who you are, a man worthy of the dirt."
It is from the dirt that we survive, and it's from the dirt you will return. And when that time comes, I will be ready.
And he seems like he's going to say something else when the flap to the tent opens. And you named her. What did you call her? Elar?
Sagarhi.
Elar Sagarhi. She appears before you. Bright orange red hair. Fiery red hair. She steps out and she says, "Nikoro, that's enough. Penth, I wanted to speak with you as well." And she nods into the tent.
I look at Vikoro as I walk past. not making a huge facial expression, but make eye contact as she calls my name. And I walk in.
He's not making eye contact back. He's staring ahead, face flush with blood.
Right.
And you step into the Elder Mother's tent, and you see, you've been in here before, but it actually kind of strikes you more now that you've been away from the encampment. She has a number of trinkets and beautiful presents from her times that she's been down in the lowlands. Things like weapons that are more ornate than practical. You also see furs, and furs from animals that don't live in the frostbacks, dragon scales and the like. And your elder mother goes behind her desk, Elar, and she says, "Penth, it is good to be back, and it is good to see you. I would like to congratulate you formally for your mission. You came back successful. Not only were you able to bring back much wealth to the Emir, but you also brought much honor by completing your mission. So congratulations."
Sagari, it seems that you've spoken too soon. I've been called back as there's something I have left undone. And I show her the letter that's been sent by Raven and the request for a mercenary.
Well, already so soon. You must have impressed this Renner. What is it that he had you do?
We were last time sent on a mission to find a tower of one of our fellow Avarian tribes. There was a tower, and inside there was a great darkness upon it. Unfortunately, we were not successful in our task, but I was able to provide safety, and I fought as valiantly as I could.
Against what? Tell me about the foes that you vanquished, Penth al-Ete o Tarel.
My finest moment had to be when we fought a room full of undead soldiers, men who were warriors at one time, who came upon me, and I stood my ground, Sagari, mother, and I tore them bone from socket.
Who else? Who else did you fight?
The greatest challenge I faced was, to tell you the truth, fighting someone amongst my party.
Did you shed blood?
He did, yes.
What else? Who else did you fight? And it kind of, you get the sense that she's kind of fishing for something.
We fought some bandits in the woods who attacked a helpless cabin of peasants.
Very well. And she turns around and opens her cabinet, and you get the sense that she's not satisfied. And but nevertheless, she turns with a box, and she says, "Penth arete o Tarel, you have brought much honor to the Emir people. You are already going out into the wilderness, and I knew you would soon enough. So I would like to present you with the next step, a mirrorhood." And she opens the box, and there within it is a red band, a crimson band, signifying your entry into the honor level.
I look her in the eye and I say, "Mother, this is a great honor, and I will take this. Before I do, I have to relieve myself of a burden, a shame I bring upon myself." And I take off my cloak, and on me is still my mail, my armor, my chainmail. I start taking it off, and I say, "Last time I went, Mother, I did wear this underneath. I was not ready. I was young. I was new. This is my first time away, and I was afraid. If I accept this, I will do it knowing that I will be harmed." And I take off the chainmail, I leave it on the floor with a heavy, clinking metallic sound as it hits the stone ground.
So she nods, and she still waits for you to take it from the box.
When I reach to grab it,
And she closes it.
Bam. That's the woman from like what's the movie?
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Women. Yeah.
No, she doesn't close it. You take it and you hold it over in your hands, and you feel like a faint pulsing coming from it. And she says, "This band is more than it seems, Penth. As long as you wear this honor band, your heart and soul will flow in tandem with the Emir. Whether in life or in death, you will be connected to us always."
I take it and I officiate. I attach it to my arm.
Okay. On your robes?
Over top, yeah.
Over top. So your robes are actually on the ground.
Oh, so I redress myself in the white robes. Is it a new color?
No. It's the robes are still white.
Yeah.
But as you reach for them, she grabs your hand and she says, "No, Penth. You wish to go back into the wilderness. You wish to work for this Renner.
I do.
Then you must be reminded of what you are actually working for as an Emir. Keep your clothes off. Turn around."
And I turn around and I bend down on one knee to expose my back to her.
Yeah. And she says, "The Emir are built. The spirit of the Emir is built on 3 things. Honor." And she whips you. Pain sears across your back. And I want you to roll a self-discipline. That's willpower.
Okay, so 9 plus 4 is 13.
13.
So, yeah, 13. Well, 14.
14, that's right. So you don't cry out in pain. You're expecting it to hurt, and you grit your teeth.
And this is not the first time.
And she goes again and says, "Vision!" and slashes against your back again. Same thing.
So 16.
No problem. "And glory!"
And the fact that I put the salve on my body previously as I was training, I did not expect this as I walked in, and pain has increased even more than it has been in the past. I still have the salve on my skin. 13.
13. Okay. So you make a little bit of noise with the extra pain from the salve. And there's hesitation behind you. And the hair stands on your bare back as you feel another lash come behind you.
Well, give me the heads up.
Sorry, what just happened? I missed that.
I got a dragon die.
The hair was standing on the end of his neck.
I got a dragon die. It's not like 8, 9, 13 with a dragon die.
And you cry out this time. And she stops. And she says, "Rise."
With the pain, I help myself up slowly. And I stand before her as the blood drips down my back.
"Let those wounds remind you of what we are about. Now, your next band that you will be receiving is the Vision Band. But with that, I do not want you to return with the bloodied robes that you came with when you first arrived. No. You have to complete a ritual if you would like to be on the same level as someone like Nikoru. And
what do I have to do, Mother?
There are 2 options. You can either become a storm warrior, as Nikoru is, or become a blood warrior. And looking at you, I don't think you are in touch enough with the spirits to become a storm warrior."
Although it does bother me, the fact that she said that. I agree with her. I said, I want nothing to do with Nikoru.
"Then it is a blood warrior that you will become." And she explains to you that in order to ascend and to reach this level, this level of power, you have to find what's known as a dragonkin. Whether it's an elder dragon or a dragonling, the most powerful foe will be near impossible to defeat, And even the smallest dragonling will still be a challenge for you. So you must slay this beast and drink its blood.
Where will I find this beast?
That is part of your quest, Penth.
Then it will be done.
Good. Will that be all, Penth?
If that is all you want to say to me, Mother, I will begin my mission.
Very well. Be gone. And be well.
And
May the spirit of the Emir flow with you.
I reach down, I grab my robes, and I put them on as the blood seeps through the cloth, and I walk out the front door.
And as you walk out, do a dexterity roll.
10, 15, 18.
Okay, so you seem to anticipate it. You open the flap and do a bit of a hop, knowing that Nikoru has slid his foot out to trip you. And he chuckles and said, "I heard you in there, little girl. You're almost as weak as that lowlander."
And I say, speaking of little girls, I feel yours is about to be beaten up by Daku. No, Daku.
And he, let him try.
And I walk away.
And as you walk, you see Grinner standing there.
Stretching and yawning.
I have the horses ready, and supplies should be good enough to go. I'm ready when you are.
Then we shall go.
Perfect.
I say nothing about what happened.
And I look around one last time to see if I can see Daku.
Daku he's there, yeah. He's sitting by a cauldron.
So as I'm wearing now my bow draped over me and my short sword, and I'm kind of more into the armor and the heavy Denarum crested armor, I kind of walk over to him and I just say, remember what I said. Don't worry so much about what other people think. And don't ever let someone make you feel weak because of your fear. Your fear is a source of power. It's something that you can draw from. It is the mother of foresight. It can help you in times of darkness. And again, I tussle his head and I kind of walk away.
And as you're walking away, he wasn't making eye contact with you at all. He seems conflicted with the events of today, but he's processing it all. But as you walk towards your horse and Penth sitting on his, ready to go, you hear him say, "Thank you, Grinner." You get on your horse and
I just nod to him solemnly as I kind of like, you'll be all right, kid.
You ride north, up towards the northern road and west to Lydes.
Perfect.
Imogen, your eyes open. And you gaze around you. You find yourself in a very familiar path winding through a forest with just bits of grass. And ahead of you, you can hear a wagon moving further and further away from you. And you recognize it as the wagon of your parents.
I run towards it.
As soon as you take your first step, your foot steps in a puddle, something that you haven't seen. And as you look down, you pull your foot out of bright red blood. And you take another step and keep running towards this cart. But with every step, you seem to be going deeper and deeper and deeper into the ground. And you get to a point where it's at your waist. And looking around, you see the trees are starting to darken and surround you as you go deeper and deeper into this quicksand of blood. And you find yourself screaming out, and tears are streaming down your face as the blood rises up to your shoulder and begins to go into your mouth. And just as your head sinks under the water or under the blood, you feel a hand wrap around yours and pull you up out of the blood. And as you rise up, you see the familiar face of Dorian standing above you. And he says, there, you'll be all right.
What?
Where are we, Imogen? Where have you taken us?
Well, I've taken you back to my home.
You're sure about
My
that?
parents should be not too. Do you not hear the wagon?
What wagon?
Do you not hear the wagon, sir? The one that's rolling just ahead of us. We've got to catch it. It's my parents.
And he looks down the lane, and you look down as well. You don't see anyone there. No wagon. But the forest is dark. Darker than when you first appeared in this vision. And here, you know what? I will screen share it. Some visual elements. The forest is dark and ominous, and the trees that once stood proudly over the path now are gnarled, and their roots jut from the dirt.
What is this place, Dorian? Where have you brought me?
Well, that's kind of a complicated question. Really, we are in the Fade. That's the easiest answer. But where we are exactly, well, it looks like a forest. That is also an easy answer. Dark, ominous forest as well. But which forest I do not recognize. Probably somewhere in Thedas, but I cannot know.
This is nothing like the Fade was the last time I was in.
No? I get the feeling that your mind has been corrupted somehow. Come, let us walk. So you begin walking through the forest, and I just want to double check. Yeah, okay. So you begin walking through the forest, and everything is dark around you, and you hear the sound of hooting in the trees, but also the hoots are kind of mingled with children's laughter. And the laughter seems to float from one side of the forest to the other, and quickly back to the other side.
Why are we here, Dorian? How is this? This is a nightmare.
Yes, I do recognize that, but we have to figure out what it is that's afflicting you. If normally the Fade looks different to you, then that is very much the case, and I'd imagine that the worse this forest looks, the more this spirit has a hold on you. And he begins walking off in one direction. But your vision is caught by a spark of light that seems to flash in the opposite way of where Dorian's going. And looking amidst the trees, you see this glowing form, this essence that looks like a ball of wind trapped within a little orb, and it floats. And there's something very familiar about it as it floats amidst the dark, looming trees. And you get the sense that it wants you to follow it.
And so I do.
Okay. You follow this being into the forest, leaving Dorian to go in one direction. And you can hear him talking to himself as he goes through. And you find yourself at a bit of a clearing. A strange clearing that you've never seen before. And this...
I don't remember any of this.
A strange, kind of an obelisk-like thing sits in the middle of the field. And there seems to be a lot of power emanating off of this stone.
I will move towards it.
All right. So each step you take, you start to feel fear inside of you, but not your own fear. There's something inside of you that's afraid. And you get closer and closer, and eventually this fear explodes inside of you, and you're knocked back to the tree line, magically pushed in the air as if there was a sudden tremendous gale of wind pushing you back. And you're winded, and you push yourself up. And you can sense this wisp beside you, this glowing orb of what feels like courage. It seems to be activating courage inside of you.
And I want to try to move towards it.
All right.
Again, knowing that whatever it is that's inside of me is afraid of it. I can't really tell if it's me and I'm separating myself from it or it is something else. And so I remember, again, I turn to memories of Penth and of Grinner and their words that have encouraged me other times when I was afraid. And I move towards it.
Your feet squish into the mossy ground. And you get the sense that there are trees. The trees aren't solid, that they're kind of moving and they're not stuck in place. And as you make your way towards this stone, you feel the fear again inside of you. And you hear a voice inside of you as well. And it says, "Step no further, Imogen. You have come here, and you have found me. Congratulations."
Who are you?
"I am the god of darkness."
God. Then what do you need me for, if you are a god? Let me be. Set me free. Dorian!
A friend cannot help you, Imogen. I am here for you. I am
Then
here.
show yourself.
Okay. And so you feel an impulse to look to your left. And you don't see anything there until your eyes land upon a still puddle. And looking into the puddle, you see your reflection.
What? So you're still afraid. You're still a coward. What lord, what god is this that is such a coward that won't even show itself to
Dorian! Imogen! I'm Dorian. Imogen! Are you there?
Dorian?
Yes. What happened to you? And you feel someone shaking you. And you come to and you find yourself close, only inches away from the puddle. And Dorian says, "What, were you thirsty or something?"
There was something that stole my ears.
Very well. But I think I have an idea of what's going on here.
It spoke to me, Dorian.
What? What did it
spoke
say?
to me.
Is it a demon? A pride demon? Maybe a hunger demon? That would make sense. Or a fear demon? Rage? Is it a rage demon? What kind of demon is it?
It said it was a god.
What? No. That's impossible, Imogen. It isn't a god. There isn't a god inside of you. Maybe they say that the Maker lives in all of us, blah, 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 but no. That can't be, Imogen.
Well, obviously. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so afraid to show itself.
Well, let's keep poking around. I'm sure we'll be able to find something else. Jump.
Must we? Can we not go back now?
Not yet.
What more do we need?
Well, we need to find out if you say it is a god and it isn't a demon. We have to figure out how to get rid of it. All right. So we're going to jump again to Penth and Grinner. Da-da-da-da.
Hi-ho!
We're off again.
So we're actually jumping
Adventures
forward.
are we.
And here, guys, I'm going to do another screen share with you.
Sweet. But we like your face way better.
Oh, well, aren't you just the sweetest?
He's going to give me extra die now.
An extra 2,000 experience points for
I'm gonna make you extra die.
way to go, Chris. So I will press the button in a second. Here's
Before we get into the map, I just want to say I really like our overlays. They're great.
Oh yes.
But I was just flicking through them. I was like, I got a really cool shield, and then you got this really cool tower, and then there's a couple leaves.
Because he's a mage.
It's so squishy. All right, let's
I
go.
don't know.
That's what Caesar wears.
That's right.
It was the last minute thing. I decided to make them each different. That's why.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I really love mine.
I know, and I liked mine too. So I didn't worry about it.
Yeah, I like my squishy leaves.
There you go.
There you go. All right,
Fine,
Justin.
I'll fix it.
All right, so this is a map of Thetis.
Sure
And,
is.
oh, you know what? Was I echoing that whole time?
Not the whole time, just at the very
Probably.
beginning. It's all
Oh, well, whatever. Anyways, this is a map of Thetis, and I'll show you guys where you are. So, just for those watching, the first Dragon Age campaign started here in this area, the Frostback Mountains, and it started in a little town called Western Hills. So each of the characters came from different places. Penth came from the Emir encampment and met the characters at Western Hills. Grinner came from all the way to the east in the Southron Hills. That's where Grinner's farmstead is.
Sure is.
And then we've got Imogen, who was in Redcliffe already, so he made his way there. And the actual campaign of Dragon Age only went about this far. 10 episodes went from there to there.
How many dots?
Jeez.
1, 2,
Suck.
3, 4, 5, 10 dots.
About 14 dots.
Nice.
14 dots. So this campaign, we're starting it out. The Mirror encampment is here, and Penth and Grinner are going west into Orlais to a town known as Lydes. This is where Renner lives.
Oh, really?
Hmm. So Renner lives in Lydes. So you've been traveling west for the past 2 weeks, and that's about as long as it takes to get there. You guys made pretty good time, but the past few days have been very uncomfortable because it's been raining the entire time. And it seems that tonight, the night that you arrive in Lydes, is a particular stormy night. And you make your way down the streets of the city that are darkened. It's the middle of the night. You decided to push on. And the houses and buildings rise up above you in a Renaissance, Venice, Paris sort of feel. More Paris.
What is a Paris? I've never been to a Paris.
That is...
Oh, you mean like Denerim?
very different from Denerim, Grinner. I know you're being silly. It is different from Denerim. No, neither of you guys have been to Orlais. Though Grinner has some contacts in this area, you've never actually been itself. So the architecture is very different from Denerim. And Penth actually has never seen anything like this.
How did they build them so tall?
Well, I don't really know, to be honest. But it's pretty cool.
Well, what purpose do they serve? Is there a village in each one?
No, just usually a rich, stubborn family. I grew up in a city much like this, actually.
Well, which one do we go into? Is this one fine?
No, I mean, we're looking for a place to find Renner. What are we actually looking for in this?
You're looking for Renner's estate. Now, you've actually been there before. At the end of last campaign, you... Oh, okay, sorry. So you have been there before. I forgot. At the end of last campaign, you guys went down the west side of the Frostbacks. Actually, no, that wouldn't make sense at all. You went to Lydes. You know where you're going. You know where Renner's estate is. But it was a very brief trip. You basically went. He gave you your money, and then you guys went back to the Emir encampment.
Okay, so we're in Lydes. And this is where Renner is, anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, so then I'm gonna, as we're walking to his estate, I'm going to share any useless information that I might have with Penth about this.
Do we drink? And I point over to a trough that a horse is drinking from. I said, "Is that for? I'm thirsty. Is that for us as well?" I get down to take a drink.
And I look to the camera. No. Say, no, Penth, but the horses could drink there. And I walk the horses over, and we let them drink.
But I'm thirsty, and I ignore him, and I take a drink anyways from the...
No, Penth. Well, fair enough. I mean, to each their own. But we can hop in here. And I know Renner's estate is around the corner, but we're going to hop in the nearest bar to take a quick break because we have been traveling for a while.
As soon as it says bar, I look up and I say, there will be drinking there.
There will be plenty of drinking, my friend. I think we both need it.
I need to practice some more. And I push past and they get in. Yeah.
Okay. So you open the door to this tavern. And looking inside, it's a very nice, posh tavern with shiny wooden floors that look like they've just been mopped. And there is a thin man with a thin mustache in the restaurant, seeming to stack chairs.
Is he trying to close up?
It looks that way, yes. And he turns to the door as he hears it open. And he says, by the maker.
If it's okay with you, a quick drink and we'll be out of your hair.
Is it warm in here?
Yes, it is warm in here, yes.
So I take my shirt off. And I go and sit down at the bar and grab a cup.
No. Can you wipe your feet at least before you come in?
Why? And I take my feet up and I wipe them on a chair and I go, why? So I wipe
what
them
are
on
you
the chair.
doing, you barbarian? This is fine upholstery.
And I said, look, my friend here, he's not familiar with the city, and I myself haven't been in a city in a while. So give us at least a bit of leeway with this. And I turn to Penth, I say, look, people in this town, they're very concerned with their things. So they want, to be very delicate with their furniture and the things we walk on. So,
and as soon as he says that, I look at the chair and I apologize. I'm very sorry. And I scoop the dirt off as best I can onto the floor in a pile.
It's covered in mud. It's been raining outside this entire time, right?
Yeah.
So your feet are quite dirty, and he says, that isn't going to do anything. You've ruined a perfectly good chair. Now
Sir, what's your name?
My name is Francois.
Francois, my name is Grinner. This is my friend Penth. Look, we just want a quick drink, and we're going to be out of your hair. We've been traveling for 3 days. Probably.
Do a persuasion check.
Happily! My persuasion, my communication... Oh, my persuasion is +2, so I have +5.
All right.
So let's do... And I got a dragon die of 2. We're always calling the middle the thing, right?
Yeah, middle is the dragon.
But we're not doing role-playing stunts, so it's just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 5 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay, that's enough.
I knew you knew. I
didn't.
So he says reluctantly, have a seat. Gestures to the bar, and he goes behind it.
Thank you. And I as Penth is sort of sweeping off the chair, still like trying to catch the mud.
I'm just smearing the mud in it, kind of like trying to, yeah.
I walk over to the barman and I just say, look, 2 flagons of ale. Penth, that's what you drink, right? Like, do you have a preference? I would know this, but I just don't know.
I look at him as very confused. Alcohol.
Okay, so I say 2 of your strongest flagons of ale. And look, information, actually. 2 quick questions. Renner, he owns the estate down the block. Does he ever come in here? Do you know anything about him?
I know only as much as my patrons care to tell me.
Yeah.
And today, it seems people were coming in and complaining about this Renner. And he goes over to the tap, and he seemed kind of distasteful that you guys were buying beer, of all things, ale, and he makes an act of blowing off the tap to blow the dust off of it, but there isn't any dust.
And I
on
stop him and I say, if you have a preferential drink that you'd like to serve us, please, by all means.
And I stand up from wiping the dirt off. My hands are covered in dirt, so I walk over and wipe them off on the nearest tablecloth and go back over and I sit down beside them.
Well, if you want the true drink of true origin, then you will get la flamberge.
Sounds great. Let's get two of those. And Renner, you were saying someone was in here complaining about him?
Yes, nasty business in the Neville Estates. It seems that someone was murdered there this morning. Yes, he seems very willing to share this.
Interesting. Who was murdered? Oh, the young boy.
So would you know about the young boy?
Well, he wrote it in the letter, didn't he?
No, he wrote the dog.
Oh, right. So I wouldn't know. So sorry, my apologies. Who was murdered?
It was a little servant boy named Noel, from what I know.
Oh, thank God. And I like cautiously, or I relaxed and breathed out, because for a moment I kind of thought it might have been Imogen, because again we've been traveling for days since the letter.
That is a very strange thing to hear when. That's a strange thing for someone to say when they hear someone is murdered.
No, he
he takes 2 shots and grabs a match.
And I say, a match? And I say, well, no, it's a friend of mine also works at the estate. I'm happy to hear that he is all right. But the boy, and I say, would you? And I look around the bar. Is there anyone in it?
No, it's completely empty.
And I say, look, on me. And I pull out another coin, however much this would be. I'm assuming not that much. I say, pour yourself one and join us. And I pick the 2 drinks up, leaving the coin, and I walk over and I give one to Pent. And I say, apparently someone was murdered at Renner's estate yesterday morning.
Do you think it was Imogen?
He says no, a boy named Noel. And as I turn to Francois, I guess walking over now, right?
No, did Francois light them?
He hasn't yet. He's walking over with them.
Okay. And I sit down.
As he's walking over, I go to drink mine.
No. If you do that right now, it will not be flamberge, just be shot of some liquor.
What do I do?
You wait. Watch this. And he takes it, and very dramatically, he whips out a match, and he takes the box and strikes it against it. And you've never seen a match before. This is new to you. Usually you use.
And I lean into Grinner. I say, he's like Imogen.
Not quite, no.
And very delicately, he taps the top of each shot, and nothing happens for an instant. But then all of a sudden, the flames erupt from the tops of the shots in tandem, and you can feel the heat radiate off of them before they settle down into a nice, neat little flame.
And as the flame's glowing, I drink it back. This is very challenging alcohol. I like it a lot.
That is the traditional way to do the flamberge, yes. But here in Lydes, we blow out the flame. You just want it for the heat. And he throws it back. He says, yes.
I'll drink mine with the flame on as well. I'll say, if that's how they do it.
All right, both of you roll a 1d6.
Yeah, worth it.
This is 1d3 damage.
Yay,
so
1.
1 and 1. Okay, so you take 1 point of damage. You don't even have to write it down. So he says, you two are not from around here.
No, I grew up in a city much like this. Perhaps you heard of it, Denerim?
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
What is this? What did you say?
Nothing. I'm not from here.
Well, yes, of course I have heard of Denerim. Yes, I have many friends who have decided to live in that stinkpot of a city.
Well, I left it long ago. I have no ties to it.
Good.
No.
I still would say that is a stinkpot of the city, yes.
And that's could be true.
Of the very few interactions I've had with lowlanders, I know that we've discussed their pride in their dogs. I've discussed it with other mercenaries who've left the town, that they seem to be so proud of these dogs that they breed, and we look down on them because they're not wolves. They've been bred in captivity to be these soft animals. But in the letter, it spoke of one of these dogs. So I bring it up and I say, is there a breeding kennel for disturbed wolves?
That is a very strange question, I must say. A kennel, yes, there is this. We do have this in the town. I know that Master Renner has a kennel because, his dogs are barking into the wee hours of the morning, and it does not let me get much sleep. Nor my wife.
Is it nearby then?
Yes, it would be about a 20-minute walk. It's not too far.
I stand up from the chair, dropping my chair back as I stand up. I say, "Thank you for the alcohol."
Before you leave, I have more information for you.
And I turn to Penth and I say, I actually turn to the man and I say, Penth is very strong-willed. I think if he's done with this, I can fill him in later. Or you can say, Penth, that's your call.
I will wait for you outside, and I walk out.
Yes. Well, yes, it is. The kennel is not too far. It's just on the other side of. You would have to actually go past the Renner's estate if you would like to go there. So, yes, this information that you.
So yes, the boy Noel.
Noel, yes.
Noel, sorry.
There's
When did he die?
There's been controversy around him. I didn't answer your question. I do not know how he died exactly. I just heard that it was gruesome and that people are out for blood. For he was already a boy surrounded in controversy because,
why is that?
Here in Ole, we have abolished slavery. We do not condone slavery anymore. But there are some nobles that believe that the servants are their property. So, this Noel used to actually be a servant of another noble.
Oh.
Yes.
Did Renner have servants then?
Yes, Renner does have these servants, yes, but from what I understand, he treats them very differently, which I believe is why the young Noel boy left from the Lafoy estate into the Renner estate.
Fair enough.
And Monsieur Lafoy was not happy about this. No.
So what are people saying about Renner? If this boy died under his watch, are they blaming him?
Well, Monsieur Lafoy, who used to own this Noel boy, he is, I think, now it's very fresh, but he is raising quite a stink that Renner has destroyed some of his property.
Yeah.
And last I heard, he was going to do something about it. I
Really?
do not know what. I cannot begin to imagine.
Francois, hold on. Now listen, you must get a lot of people coming in here. A lot of people drinking too much. I'm sure there's something that you know that you could share with me. Renner's a friend of mine. And if anything bad could be happening to him, I want to make sure that that we have the first say or the first hear of it so that we can maybe warn him. Can I try to push him for information?
Yeah. Do a persuasion, or you can try to bribe him.
Can I try making this guy contact?
You can do that. Yeah.
Because that's one of my abilities too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to make him a contact. So, dragon die. Again, I don't think it's useful here, but that's 10, 12. Plus my... I guess it's not technically persuasion, though, is it?
Yep, it is. Communication persuasion.
Okay, so then that's plus 5, so 17.
17.
So I'm trying to make a contact out of this NPC.
Which means that...
Which basically means that, yeah, he sort of trusts me. Yeah, only the middle one counts for doing that. Yeah, so I have 2 stun points, but it can't be used for anything. But basically it means he trusts me and all the other things that contact... I don't remember. I didn't write them all
Contact
down.
will be friendly to you, but won't go out of the way to help you without additional motivation.
Fair enough. Well, then I will... I did pay for his drink. I'll
Yep.
yeah,
You can slide him like a silver piece or something.
Yeah,
like that,
I'll
like-
slide him another silver piece and be like, Francois, any information you might have heard that could help us with Renner is important to me, and I will handsomely pay for it.
And he looks at this silver piece. Well, now we are talking. Yes, I did overhear someone. They didn't tell me Exactly. But if Renner is a friend of yours, then I will tell you, Monsieur Lafoy was planning to try to knock on Renner's doorstep this evening with some of the other servants who know Noel and, you know what I am saying?
No, knocking on his door doesn't seem to be silver worthy.
They want to put together a mob. A
Ah,
bunch of people that want to act outside of the law, like a vigilante, and get this elven boy, or this boy, or whatever, whoever murdered him. I don't know if he's elven. I don't know these things. How would I know? I just assume that if someone's getting murdered, it's probably a knife, yes?
right.
But they want to string him up. And because Lafoy says that this servant is his property and that no contracts were signed, well, he actually does have a bit of a claim.
All right, fair enough. Look, when are they planning on doing this?
Tonight. Why wait?
Okay, then I have to go. But one quick question. I have a friend in town, Carthus. He's a bit of a sellsword. You ever heard the name?
Yes. What is he? He's a sellsword?
He was a Templar a way back in the day, but I know they're not too favorable around here. But he kind of hops around, and last I heard he was in Orlais. If he's around, I wouldn't mind meeting up with him.
I am sorry. It is a big city. I meet lots of people, and usually I'm very good with names, but...
That's fair. Put it this way. If you hear him, Carthus, if he ever comes in, tell him Grinner's looking for him, all right? And tell him that I'm friends with Renner, and that's where I'll be if he needs me.
I will do this for you, Grinner. And he holds up the silver piece and winks at you and says, would you like another fromage?
No. If Renner's in trouble, I have to get pent. We need to go. And I stand up and I walk towards the door. As I don't do anything with my bow because there's no need to. All right.
Okay.
You can say what happened with Penth while I was doing that.
So, Penth, did you leave or did you...
Yeah, I walked out the front door and I'm waiting just outside the door. Again, staring at the buildings right in the middle of the streets.
As the rain is pounding down on you.
Yeah.
And after a couple moments, Grinner walks out of the tavern. But before that couple moments, you hear something through the heavy rain. Sounds like chanting almost, human voices.
And I start walking towards it, away from the bar where Grinner is.
Away from the bar. And you feel like you're actually walking towards Renner's estate.
Does it sound like singing to me?
No, it doesn't sound like singing. It sounds like angry voices. And as you turn round a bend, you see torchlight reflecting off of one of the walls. And it's not long before you see a crowd of 30, maybe 40 people marching through the streets. Some of them are dressed, no, not towards you, away from you. They've turned down a road and are
So how are they dressed?
Renner's estate. They are dressed very finely, more finely than you've ever seen, and their fine clothes are light. You can see because they're soaked in rain.
I grab one of the ones at the back, by the back of their clothing, and pull them towards me. Where are you guys going?
What do you want? What do you want?
I asked you a question. Where are you going?
Why are you grabbing me?
To ask, and I put him down. I want to know where you're going.
I am a servant of Monsieur Lafoy. We are going to the Neville estate. One of his friends murdered a servant of the Lafoy house. We are going for retribution.
That makes sense. And I say, well, maybe I'll see you there. And I walk back to where Grinner was, waiting for me outside the bar.
So he joins the rabble, and you find Renner there.
Or Grinner.
Grinner.
Grinner, did you see there's a mob of people going to the Foix State for retribution? Do you want to go watch?
No, I think we need to stop them. They're planning on stringing up Imogen.
And I immediately turn around to go and chase back after them, ready to just kill that guy that I was just talking to.
And I stop. Actually, yeah. And I stop Penth. I say, Penth, hold. We're in a city. It's different than being in the mountains where you can kill a man for speaking ill of you. But you need to understand that any action we take, if it's not a proper action, it's going to be scrutinized and studied by law enforcement. And we're going to be in chains or strung up no different than Imogen.
But Grinner, there's at least 30 of them against one little elven boy.
I know, but I think they're running on their fear right now. I think they're afraid. I think whatever Imogen has done, whatever this letter, and I referenced the letter, I said whatever this letter that Renner sent us said that Imogen was doing, I think they're afraid of it and they don't understand it. And I think we need to explain to them that we're here to help. If we start slaughtering all 30 of them, we're never going to get out of this city and Imogen's going to hang.
I see your logic, Grinner, but if they do begin to attack, I will kill them.
As will I. But let's try a diplomatic solution first.
You do seem to have ideas I never think of.
So you know that Renner's estate does have a back door. And as you approach the estate, you see that the front gates are completely illuminated by people with torches. They've got some rapiers that they're waving in the air, and some of them are actually holding banners, white and red banners. You can only assume that they are the colors of House Lafroy.
And I turn to Pent and I say, maybe I'll distract them. I know there's a back door to Renner's place. If you wanted to go in and alert them to this mob, would that be advantageous?
You don't propose we run away?
No. I think if they should pass me, if I should fail, you being at the front door to stop them from entering the house is the best spot. Versus if you're in the middle of the fray and they're surrounding you. Oh, I know you like that.
Strategically, that does make more sense. And 30 of them, I won't be able to hold them all off, and some will get past me. For the sake of Imogen, I will follow your advice.
Or maybe we should just both go in the back door. No, let me see if I can talk them down. Yes. Go in, tell Imogen we're here to help, and tell Renner we're here to help, and tell him that these people are here. Yes, I think protecting Imogen should be the priority no matter what.
Okay, so I walk up as Grinner is about to distract them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wait for the cue. But I'm getting myself ready to grab the same guy I was talking to earlier and drag him into the alley behind.
Okay. All right.
So I wait for Grinner to say something, then I'm going to grab him, put my hand around his mouth, and drag him back.
Try to do it discreetly?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I walk to the crowd and I say, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lafroy, if I can have your attention, please. And I sort of try walking in front of the crowd.
And they all kind of turn, startled to hear you, and eventually the rabble kind of dies down, and you feel an intensity as all of the heads have turned towards you. And eventually, as you make your way into the crowd, they part, and you see a very elegantly dressed man with long flowing hair that's coiffed, and he holds a rapier proudly on the hilt. And he says, "Who speaks with Monsieur Lafroy?"
Grinner is my name. I am new to Orlais, and hello. And what does Pence successfully sneak away his guy?
Go ahead, Pence. Do a stealth roll. You have the hand-to-hand combat experience to do it.
Okay, so 8 plus my dexterity.
8 plus your dexterity, and
Can I get an advantage from him distracting them?
Yeah.
So 11 plus whatever advantage.
Okay. So you do manage to drag him into the alley.
And as I drag him away, I said, so you think it would be fair for 30 of you to go and fight one little elf? I keep dragging him away. And then as soon as I'm far enough from earshot, I let him speak.
Please, do not kill me. Please, I do not want to die.
And I just knock him out. Bam! I drop him in the mud.
There were 29.
And his face just caves in.
No, I don't want to kill him. I just want to knock him out.
Okay, so you pull your blow. You do manage to knock him out. He goes limp in your arms.
And I just I lean him against the house. I said, I think he learned something today. I keep walking.
Rain pounds on him as he sits there.
As he drowns in the mud. I prop him up so he won't die.
And we are going to pause there as Penth makes his way back to the estate to do the
mid-game post! That's right, it's the mid-game post. That means the first, second, and third comments with the word of the day are going to receive 2 XP each, as well as the 20th. I am posting it right now, and the word is retribution.
Tough one.
So number 1 is Mr. Jake Ortega. Then we have Laureen Rin Regan, and number 3 is Mr. Rich Brown. Well done, guys. So Jake, Laureen, and Rich are 1, 2, 3, and while 20 counts out, I just want to say good job, Justin. I'm having a blast so far.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think everybody's having a blast so far.
I am too. All the characters are really fitting nicely together right now. And
wait till Imogen gets in the mix.
Yeah,
That guy.
He's
the instigator.
Imogen is angsty these days.
Yeah, me and Grinner get along so well without Imogen.
Well, you know what? It's funny because being a child of 3, I find that 2 always get along, and the third one always has an issue. And when it's just 2, it's fine. But you add that third one, and then the dynamic changes. So maybe it is Imogen. You and I are constantly fighting over Imogen.
For his
He loves
affection.
me more. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is Mycl Fazio. 11, no, that was Tetribution. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is Mr. Trevor Taw. Okay. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That means our mid-game post is Jake, Laureen, Rich, and Trevor. Well done, guys. Fantastic job. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and you know, playing. And this is a blast. It's so exciting to kind of get to do this 2 years after we started.
It's almost like we never left it. I feel just so comfortable.
Like never touched
feel
it.
the same.
That is system. I do want to mention to you guys who are kind of halfway through the game real quick that the XP system in its current form, we are in the process of retooling. And I just kind of want to put the bug in your ear. Basically, Dragon Age is the end of this second season. We had our first season, which was Dragon Age, Numenera, Call of Cthulhu, and Star Wars. And this season, this new year, we started with The Strange, and then we did Drafaskew, Deadlands, and now we're doing Dragon Age 2. At the end of the season, we're going to be retooling the XP, but at the end of the year, we're going to have sort of like an extravaganza for XP expenditure. We're going to have a crazy game where you guys can throw as much XP as you want. It's going to be very improv heavy, and that's going to be the last game of the year. And then starting the new year, we're sort of going to retool the XP so that it's easier to track, because as we grow bigger, that's the number one. As we grow bigger, Justin, the poor soul Justin, tracks all the XP. And when it was 100 people, it was easy. You know, oh, 5 XP, 5 XP. The problem is now we're pushing 500 people and handing out XP and receiving XP. It's making it tougher to track, which means it's less worthwhile for you guys to be spending it and earning it and stuff like that. And that's no fun for everyone. So I just wanted to let you guys know that in the future, again, starting next year, we're going to be retooling it a bit. It's still going to exist, but it's going to be more powerful. It's going to be more useful to you guys. It's going to be easier to track, and it's going to be more effective on the game.
You just initiated like a bank run on XP.
Everybody run!
But it's in your house, and it's in your house.
Yeah, that's right. But your dollars are in Jane's house. It's in Michael's business.
Oh, XP.
By the way, did you notice Michael's fancy new overlay?
I did. Wow, it's like it's so equal on part of the rest of ours now.
Well, actually, I resent you one, Mike, just now that it's up a little more, so it's not so off center. So if you want to upload that, so it doesn't look like I don't know how to center everything.
Like
yeah,
a third one.
yeah. So, geez,
Harlan, are you like a
editing
perfectionist
while you're playing? God, what a jerk! Yeah, no, I'm not a perfectionist. It was out of center. Anyway, so XP. That's the future thing. Again, we're still going to be spending it as normal in this game and as normal for Running Dead and things like that. But just want to put the bug in your ears so you guys knew the impending changes. Justin, I am ready when you are. Back to you, my friend.
Good to go. All right.
Oh no, I'm not ready.
Not ready yet.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
We're ready, master.
Okay.
I missed that game.
Me too. We should play it. We should stream it.
Whoa, no.
I want them to just update the graphics. That would be
We're
really fun.
being attacked!
Yeah. I expect them to like explode. Hey, stop clicking me.
Stop clicking me.
All right, I think we need another gah.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Imogen. Well, if it's up to me, I would like to spend as little time as possible here. So, if you could just take a look around this area. I don't know about you, but it feels important, he says as he walks around the little clearing.
He's afraid of that. And I point to the obelisk.
And he...
And I start trying to walk towards it again.
Okay. And you don't feel that fear anymore, as if whatever was inside of you and was controlling your emotions and that was making you get so close to that puddle, it's gone. Like Dorian did something to you or something. And you begin walking towards the monument or the obelisk, and you feel fine. And
No, something's wrong, Dorian. I'm cured. I think maybe I'm cured.
Cured?
Before, it wouldn't let me get too close to this, and now I feel nothing.
No, that was my doing, actually. One of my abilities is I'm able to dispel magic, mana, spirits, so to speak, as well. And you've definitely got one inside of you. It's powerful, and it wasn't easy, but as you were going in to lap up that puddle there, I was able to pull it back a little bit, knock it out into submission, so to speak. It might be a couple days before it's back, but it's done for now.
So how do I get rid of it?
Well, you said that it's afraid of this. And he gestures toward the obelisk.
Yes.
What is it?
I want to go up and see if I can get a better look at it and see if there's any writing that I recognize.
Sure. So go ahead and do a perception. Do a perception roll. You can tell that it's magical, but everything is magical here. The arcane sense is... Your arcane sense is tingling like wild, man. So do a perception notice or seeing.
There we go. So just 8. And it would be 8 total, but with the dragon die. That matters.
I will say you don't notice anything. You're looking over it, and something catches your eye again. And you think it's a wisp. You think it's that spirit that infused you with courage. But it's not. You see a deer-like figure bounding through the trees. And it bounds for a bit, and then it stops and disappears behind the trees. And then you see it appear again further down. So it's kind of like it's coming in and out of view. And it kind of distracts you for a second, as you've never seen anything like it. It's like a Patronus.
And I feel like that's a good omen.
Well, what have we here? Seems like we have... No. And you see Dorian, he's reading the obelisk. And you didn't notice it before, but because Dorian was covering it kind of with his body, but there is an inscription that is written in a language that seems kind of like Elven, but isn't exactly. I cannot read this. You're an elf. Do you read Elven?
I do not. I was taken from my people before I could learn.
Oh, that's a pity. That would come in real handy right now, Imogen. You realize that, right?
Well, I imagine not being taken from my family would have been too.
A fair point. And he leans in, he says, I might be able to get a feeling for what it's about. It is quite magical. You couldn't probably sense that yourself. But this is... And he pulls back his hand. He says, oh, that's clever. Oh, wow, Imogen, this is quite unique. And he goes back to sensing.
Yeah, that's great. That's really helpful.
I'll explain all in a bit. But I think it's time that you and I went back to the physical realm. Have you seen everything that you are able to take in, Imogen?
I believe so.
Imogen's going through puberty. He's really testy. He's all sarcastic and like, I'm smarter than you are.
I guess. Oh,
It's really helpful.
Very well.
God.
what's wrong with you?
All right, well, if you would put your
Some
attitude
tater
ready
tots.
for just a second, Imogen, I'll need you to close your eyes again. I'm watching around. I'm making sure that nothing's creeping up on us, but it looks like we're safe for now.
All right, whatever. Let's do this.
Good. And when I count to 3, you can open your eyes, and we'll be back in the mortal realm. 1, 2. Oh, would you look at that? What a lovely deer. I think that's a hala. I've seen those. Huh. My goodness. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Jump. 10th. You make your way through the back alleys towards the back of Renner's estate. And you find yourself at a small gate leading into a garden. And on the other side of the gate, through the pounding rain and the thunder in the background, you hear the faint sound of dogs barking. That's what dogs sound like.
I step over the gate.
Oh, it's a high gate.
I step over it. You didn't ask my physical description at the beginning. I'm
sorry,
12 feet
It
tall.
is probably about. Oh, really? Oh, okay. That
All right.
changes things a bit.
And I'm a little Emir. Okay, well, then I go to the gate to try to open it.
All right. It is locked. And as soon as you rattle the gate, you hear someone move from the other side. He says, "Who's there?"
Is Imogen in there?
Imogen? I don't know who you're talking about.
The elf boy, is he in there?
There's an elf here, but his name's not Imogen.
And as soon as he says elf, I kick the door open.
Okay, it's a cast iron door. It's very
Reminds me
difficult.
of that scene in not Faulty Towers, the fucking Monty Python, Holy Grail, where he's like in the castle, ha ha, and he's like,
Yeah,
killing
it starts killing people. That's what's
you run up and you get Imogen, and you're like, ha ha, and you kill everyone in the way out. Sorry, continue. Just thought of that.
Okay.
All right, so 9 plus 3 for strength, so 12.
Can you not do that? Please, stop. Stop.
As
What
I'm
do you want?
kicking.
Are you with the mob?
No, I'm here to help him. I need to come in. The mob's gonna come in through the front door. Let me in. Let me see the elf.
Oh, but who
I'm
are
gonna try
you?
to intimidate him.
How do I know that you're not one of them? Because that looks, what you just did looks like something.
I hang my head down like, where's Grinner? And then I can I see him through the gate?
The guard? Oh yeah, he's standing there, but he's got his spear ready.
And my gray face, as our skin is a little different colored. And I look in and I say, do I look like I'm from here? Do I sound like I am from here?
Do a strength intimidation. And I'm going to give you a +2 because of the ominousness of everything.
The
and the fear that he's feeling.
So, what am I using? You said strength? Doesn't sound
Strength.
right.
Yeah, intimidate is actually a strength focus.
Well, I just flexed my muscles at him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
7, 8, 11 plus 2 is 13.
Okay. 13 is not enough because it's an opposed roll against his willpower. And he says, "You don't scare me. I'm trained by Renner himself."
I'm here for, and I take out, as soon as I hear Renner, I take out the letter I still have. And I show him, I said, I've been asked to come here by Renner. And put it through the gate. And let me in, you foolish man.
And he reaches through, and the letter is soaked with blood.
Dripping. Yeah.
It's dripping.
Read this. I just like throw it at him.
He's like,
can't read.
I can't I can't let you in. There are people after that boy, and let me go get Renner. And he runs inside, and you stand there at the gate, frustrated. But
I walk around the other side and punch the guy again, and then walk back.
So we're gonna jump to Grinner.
All right,
You are staring down Sir Lafoy.
Sir Lafoy, and I say,
Monsieur.
Monsieur Lafoy of Orlais, I've heard of you and your many friends here, servants. Sorry, I don't know who we're dealing with.
And as you look around, all of this guards and servants kind of sneer at you.
How many servants are there roughly?
Maybe about 15 of them. Some of them look to be nobles, like friends of his, and then some of them look to be his guards, his own personal retinue.
So I turn to him. I say, Mr. Lafoy, why have you come knocking on Renner's door tonight?
Well, that, as the Orlesians would say, ce n'est pas ton problème. Or, in trade tongue, that's none of your business.
That's very fair, but I have a very strong feeling that it's because of the death of your previous servant, Noel. Is that fair to assume?
Well then, a bird has been chirping in this horrible weather, yes?
Not necessarily. Death travels fast. It hits us all. And I kind of look over the servants to see how they react to news. They obviously know, but I want to know if, are they solemn or are they kind of just smiling?
Some of them look stricken with grief.
Yeah.
Some of them have boiling rage in their eyes that their boy Noel was killed. Many of them were friends with him, you imagine.
Yeah. I've heard great things about Noel, and it's a shame that he's passed. But doing what you're doing tonight, and I address all of them, is not a way to avenge his death. This is not something that's going to make you feel better. This isn't justice.
We will kill the boy for killing one of our own. That is justice. But as defined in the Orlesian dictionary.
Now listen, was not this boy your property? He was your claim, is what you said, no?
That is correct. He belonged to me.
And you are grief-stricken and frustrated that Renner allowed him to die under his watch. Well, how is it any justice to kill someone that was, as Noel was to you, this Imogen boy is to Renner? You're killing another servant for servant's blood?
This servant, as you can see, meant a lot to these people. And I am going to make sure that Renner is punished for it, and that this boy is punished for it as well. For I know this boy. I have seen him with my own eyes, and he has a knife ears. And the crowd erupts in anger.
All right, I'm losing him. And I say, fair enough. Fair enough. Then you kill his servant. And I address the crowd, the servants. And what of Renner's retribution? He's killed one of your servants, or you've killed one of his. Who is he to kill now? And I point at a servant nearby. You? Are you the one to be strung up by Renner's mob in retaliation to this one? Or you? And I start picking them out of the crowd. Which servant is ready to die for their master? This man who stands here, bringing you out here in the rain for his retribution, for his blood. Who's ready to be strung up themselves? Because that's all you're doing. You're starting a pattern.
Go ahead and roll persuasion.
If I can't convince him, I got to convince his groupies. Oh, so that's 5, 9, 10 plus 15 if it's persuasion. So it's 15 total.
Okay. So people have to roll their self-discipline. Okay.
Roll it 30 times, will you? Sorry, 29 times.
29 times. Okay, that's 1, that's 2. No, that's for the whole mob. It doesn't seem like you are getting to Lafoy at all. And he says, these servants are protected by the finest noble army in all of Lydes. They would not be worried about such petty they would not be worried about a house such as, and he turns and he sees members of his all of his servants start to kind of head down, march their way back to his own estate, and some of them are holding each other in their arms, and some of them have broken down crying, and they're walking amongst each other, and before you know it, it's just you, Lafoi, and his 4 guards, his retinue.
Yeah. So now I'm switching tactics, and now I get serious, and I say, Lafoi, your mass is gone, and now it's skill. And I look to the 4 guardsmen. And you look well trained, don't get me wrong, but I'm not alone. I'm a friend of Renner's, as are 2 more inside, and I can tell you right now, if this ended in bloodshed, it would end in your deaths, all 5 of you. That's not a threat, gentlemen. That's not a threat. That's a fact. Now, you can push past me. You can push inside these gates. And tonight, people will die. Or you can come inside, Mr. Lafoi. If you're looking for retribution, and I lean in and I say, of a monetary sense, or even an emotional sense, you need not appease your servants any longer. They're not with you. So what you're really after is a bit of eye for an eye. And I think we can cover that in a different sense rather than bloodshed.
Flashback to Pent, and I'm trying to hit the iron gates with a metal trash can. Ah!
Can I roll persuasion on that?
I'm not going to waste your roll. He is furious.
Really?
His face, yes. His face is red. And you have insulted him greatly, first by sending away his servants and showing him shameful in front of his guards, but now by suggesting that all he wanted was an eye for an eye. It seems like he doesn't even care about the boy. You get the impression he's doing this for other reasons, possibly political. And he, red-faced, spits at your feet and says, "You've made an enemy of the Lavoie house." And he turns around, cloak swaying in the storm, and storms off in the direction that all the servants went. And his guards follow.
Yeah, and now at this point, Grinner's so used to people hating him, he's like, fuck it. And I turn around, and I guess the gate's locked.
The gate is locked.
So I'll go to the back door then.
You go to the back door.
And I see Ben smashing it. And I'm like, Pet,
I
turn the knob. No, I'm just kidding.
I've never seen knobs before. This isn't my fault. We don't have knobs.
So you're standing at the back gates. You can hear the barking dogs inside. The guard has yet to return.
They have an elf in there. I think it's Imogen. The stupid man is going to speak to Renner.
And I get down on my knees and I lockpick it because I'm a rogue. I should have something.
Yeah. Go roll lockpicking. Or sorry,
I don't think I've ever lockpicked.
I think it's legerdamine.
Have you never done it before?
Yeah, it is.
No, I don't think we've ever, even the first campaign, I don't think we ever did it.
Then I say, "What are you doing?"
And I say, "You might not
try
like
to
this
break it."
I say, and I say, some things aren't changed through force alone. Sometimes it takes a little finesse. And as I do it, it clicks if I succeed.
Perfect. No, you succeed.
Oh, perfect. I say, sometimes it takes a softer approach.
Yeah, that's too perfect to not let happen. So the gate creaks open.
And I give Panther really cocky, like,
I give him a very confused look, like, how the hell did you do that?
I say, think of a lock like a woman, Penth. Wait, not an Amir woman, never mind.
So the lock hits you.
I think of the Amir like Karl Droga, whatever that from Game of Thrones. Actually, I think we've deja vu. I think we've had this conversation in the first Dragon Age. I think I said that they remind me of the
barbarian
horse people. Yeah.
So you make your way in through the back garden. And it doesn't look like much of a garden now with the darkness. But as you make your way through, you get closer and closer to the barking dogs. And you see 2 cages, 2 kennels. And In one of them is a bunch of dogs snarling and barking at you, foaming at the mouth, and just making a whole lot of noise. But next to them is another kennel with a single dog sitting in it. And it's sitting completely still. Its muscles bulging. And it's completely quiet.
I like this one. And I walk over to it and I get down in front of it and I say, "Hey, buddy, what's your name?"
And it cocks its head and then looks at Pent over your shoulder and barks once. Roof!
Is this you in another life?
I walk over to the creature in the cage and I say, "I did not think that a creature in captivity could grow to be such a specimen. Hello."
Must do push-ups every day.
And it just leans forward and sniffs both of you and lies down as if it recognizes you.
And I get flashbacks of Creature, my pet from the first Dragon Age that turned out to be a very bad monster. And I have a history with animals, and in fact, a backstory in animal handling to an extent. So I want to give a roll to see if I think it's like, I don't know, friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then plus animal handling, which is communication. So it's plus 5.
Did he have a dog with him in the first time we met? Renan?
No, that was Irwin.
But
But in my way backstory, I think I had a dog as well.
Mm-hmm. You recognize him. He does seem friendly. You don't recognize him, but you have been to Renner's estate before, as I mentioned. You came here when you picked up the gold from the first campaign.
Okay, so I just recognize him in that sense.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
he recognizes you in that sense, even though you didn't interact with him at all. You think that there were more Mabaris when you came last time, and you look around the kennel and you see 2 dog houses, one of them empty. Well, both of them empty, but...
Do I remember the name?
You don't remember the name of the dogs, no.
Okay. Well, I reach in through the cave bars and I pet it.
And
I say, "It's all right. It's all right."
so you stand out in the rain. The other dogs are still going wild.
I say,
Yeah.
I say to Grinner, "I'm eager to see Imogen."
No, me too. Sorry. And I stand back immediately and I get up and start heading in.
Okay. So you make it to the back door, and you're about to reach for it when the door swings open, and there before you is that guard that was standing with Pent before, and Renner.
And we do one of those Mel Gibson like awkward sort of
And he says, "Thank the maker. Your timing couldn't have been better. Come in, please." And you make your way inside, and he doesn't say much, but he brings you downstairs, down a winding staircase that circles around, and talks to you as you're going.
Does no one else know that Mel Gibson awkward thing? Like, no one reacted to that. It's like every Mel Gibson movie, he always does this like sort of like sheepish, almost like, "Oh, well, you know," like every. No,
Oh,
It's true. He totally does. Yes.
I think
The
he
thing
does
was-
it in Lethal Weapon for sure.
he does it in everything.
What
Here's
women
the thing.
want. What women want.
He does it in everything.
Yeah.
My dad, for weirdest.
Oh yeah, he does that shake head thing.
Yeah, my dad. We were watching a movie and we were enjoying it, and the movie was We Were Soldiers. Okay, and he's like, I'm like, "Oh, I really like Mel Gibson." He was like, "I always like him, except he always does this stupid thing." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "It's this sort of," and he explained it to me. I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And it's a war movie. And he's like, "I'm sure he won't do it in this movie, so I can't prove it." And at the fucking end, not to ruin it, but he goes back home and he shows up at the door, and it's that exact scene. She opens the door and he's like, oh, and he does this like awkward, like, "I'm just so charmingly befuddled." And my dad's like, he stops the movie. He's like, "That, I hate that." So now whenever that scene happens where there's a door open and someone's like, "Oh," I always picture Mel Gibson. Sorry, continue.
No, that's hilarious.
It was an important story.
That is very important. I'm glad that we've got that immortalized on the stream. Good. Okay, so you make your way down the stairs, and it's The estate is beautiful. You've been here before, like I said, but you didn't really spend much time here. And just walking through the halls feels like you're in a palace. Clean floors, well looked after, ornate furniture and drapes, and even going down this staircase, which you imagine to be dungeons. The brickwork is phenomenal. Watch the step, but I haven't had my servants clean this one lately.
And I say, Renner, you must tell us about Imogen. Your letter. Is he all right? Is he safe?
Yes, he is safe for the moment. I'm so glad you got my letter. That friend that I told you about, he's here now. He's with Imogen, doing magic things.
And this is a man you trust?
Yes. The man that I trust most with this, that would have a knowledge about it.
All right. Okay. Then I turn to Pent and I say, then I guess we trust him too.
So he leads you fully down the stairs, and you stand in front of a door, and a guard moves aside from this wooden door with steel bars and a window, and he opens it and kind of looks inside carefully and listens. And he opens it and says, "Okay, we must be very quiet. We cannot disturb them if they're still channeling or communing or whatever they call it. We cannot wake them."
You mean they're using magic in there?
Yes, so to speak, I believe. Come. Then he ushers you down the dark, long hallway.
And I hesitate to go in, but I do.
And he notices that hesitation. He says, "Penth, if you'd rather, you can wait upstairs in the waiting quarters and wait."
So here's the kitchen. Here's the bathroom. This is the waiting quarters. Now, I know the question you're going to be asking, but listen, there's a lot of waiting in this world.
It's like Siege. It's like the waiting room. All right.
It just says loading as we're in.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I got you.
All right. But I do go in. I said, no, I need to overcome this for Imogen. And I walk in.
All right. And he leads you down the hallway, and you see torch. It seems that all of the cells are empty except for one that is illuminated. And as you step in front of it, you see Imogen and a well-dressed man with a curly mustache in the room. And the man with the mustache is talking away, saying, "Yes, it was quite an interesting experience. The Inquisitor himself was, well, a very powerful person. A bit serious at times. And, some of the other members were quite dreadful, but for the most part, it was all right. We did save the world, after all."
And I turn to Pent, I say, "This guy looks a lot like Brandy Jack."
"Oh, hello."
That's an inside joke. Long watchers will get it. Anyway, and I interrupt and I say, "Where's Imogen?"
"Oh, well, he's right here." And he gestures to the bed, and it was kind of hard to see with the shadows, but Imogen is sitting with his back against the wall, brooding against a wall.
And I walk in and I put a hand on his shoulder.
Grinner, Penth, and I give them both like a big hug, and I step back and like punch Penth in the shoulder, and be like, hey, big guy, good to.
And I don't dare to do it back, looking at his frail body.
Obviously, you're here to get me out. Let's go.
And I kind of with a worried look, give a look to Renner, and back to Imogen, and I say, Look, we're here now. There's no sense in not putting our cards in on the table. Renner, have you told him of everything he's been through?
Yes, it has been explained to him. But Dorian, you're back. What news of the Fade? And Dorian steps forward and he extends a hand to both of you and says, "Good evening." Shakes it, and you feel like as he holds your hand, Grinner, he shakes yours, no problem. Penth, he seems to pause as he shakes your hand and says, "And what's your name?"
Penth. Terrell.
Nice to meet you, Penth. Well, Renner, I imagine these are people you trust. Well,
Renner?
in that case, oh yeah, I'm Renner.
Can you please tell him that you trust us? You sent us a fucking...
And Renner says, yes, of course. Well, is it safe?
Yes, he's got it under control. Let's go.
And Dorian's like, yes, Imogen is right. It is subdued for now. Good, let us go upstairs. And Renner leads you back down the hall.
And I stopped Dorian. I want to hang back with Dorian for a second.
Yep, and Imogen, you walk through the cell door.
And Imogen looks gaunt and emaciated, right?
Yep.
I go up to him. I said, "Squishy, we need to get you some food. Come with me. I think I saw a kitchen."
Absolutely, I'm starving.
And I walk up the stairs and I head towards the kitchen, wherever it's going to be.
Okay. So you make your way up, and Grinner stays back with Dorian and says, well, are we on that level yet?
What does that mean? Like,
We can
where we can start kissing?
Are we there yet? That we're alone now? No. What
Dorian,
is it?
like, I appreciate you helping out. Renner obviously trusts you. I trust you by extension. But I need to know what exactly was wrong with Imogen.
Well, I intend to make that clear for everyone. No sense telling you and then telling them upstairs and repeating myself.
Oh, fair enough. Is there any reason to think that whatever was wrong with him is going to come back?
Very much so, yes. In fact, I guarantee that in a couple days' time, it will be back, and it will take control of him at any given moment, whether he's asleep or awake.
Fair enough. Then let's go upstairs. I figured this would have been a private conversation. I was wrong.
So you guys head back upstairs, and you go to the waiting quarters, which is nicely furnished. And Penth and Imogen come back with big silver platters that are meant for tea, just like filled with food. And an angry servant following and says, "That is not for you. That is for tomorrow morning. Do not eat." And Renner ushers him away and says, "It's fine, Claude, it's fine."
Le foie?
This, it is me. It is me. This is Lumiere. My accent. This is the only one that I can do. So the cook wanders off and
Just go in a lower tone.
It is me, Claude. It is me.
Night and day.
Yes. All right. Dorian, what do you know? Well, you put me on the spot here. Let's see. Where to start? Well, Imogen, why don't you start? Tell us what you've seen in the Fade.
It was like our world, much darker. It brought me back to the forest where I grew up before the circle, and I could hear my parents' wagon as it was rolling away. And then we came to a clearing. I don't remember the clearing from my childhood, although the rest of the forest seemed familiar. And there was an obelisk. And when I stepped towards it, that thing, whatever it is inside of me, it feared it. Now, Dorian seems to have gained some insight into this obelisk, although he didn't share it at the time because, why would you want to share anything pertinent?
I just don't like repeating myself. And I've already said this.
Don't worry, I get the same vibe from Imogen.
Anyway, it tells me it's a god.
That's the strangest part of all. See, usually, well, how much do you two know about magic?
Let's just pretend that we know nothing.
All right. Well, have you heard of abominations, possession, evil spirits?
Let's just take it from the top.
Essentially, the Fade is the spirit realm, yada, yada, yada. I've already explained this to someone today. But there are good spirits, there are bad spirits, and sometimes the bad spirits take a hold of people that can access the Fade, such as Imogen here, who is a mage. Well, it turns out that what is possessing him... Oh, he is possessed, by the way. That is not up for any debate. Some evil spirit has taken control of him. Imogen, will you agree to that now?
Whatever. Just
all right. Good.
Why are you stopping? We're sure.
And I turn to Imogen with like kind of a bit of a what's up your butt? Because I remember Imogen being this really sweet kid. I just give him a look. He doesn't even have to notice. I'm just going
So, essentially, this spirit is cleverer than a demon. I've met in my various travels demons of all sorts, demons of greed and pride and rage and all of these negative emotions that we bundle up inside of us. And these emotions, because they're held in the Fade, they attract certain demons. But this one isn't about emotion. It's all emotion wrapped up in one. And Imogen saying it's a god seems far-fetched, but it definitely is no demon.
What would claim to be a god if it wasn't?
Well, I would. I mean...
Well, thank God you're on our side, I guess.
Wait, if there's this thing inside of Imogen, can we get it out?
That's a good question, Penth. I believe there is a way, but... And this is what I didn't tell you, Imogen. There is a very clever curse that you've been taken on. The spirit has made something, this rules of engagement, so to speak, that is difficult to break. Not like normal demons. Most demons, you could go into the Fade and... What's the word? There's a movie about it. Exercise it, and then the host would be fine.
So I walk over to Imogen as we're talking, and I say, "Where is the demon?" I'm looking at his chest and belly button, putting my finger in his belly button. Is it in here?
Penth, your question was actually quite a good one. It kept things focused on track, and now I'm starting to question your intelligence a little bit.
Keep going.
No, the demon is not visible on him. It is in his soul, his spirit. But this one, like I say, is clever. Because usually you could either banish it by going into the Fade, having a mage do so, or by simply killing the host. And Renner, I'm sorry, but plan B, which I suggested, is not an option. So congratulations, Imogen. Nobody's going to be killing you.
Yay, for me.
Because...
So how do we get this thing out? What do we do? Where do we go? Like, you said I've only got a certain amount of time. Let's do this.
Let me explain.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for you
man.
to keep going blah, blah, blah. Let's go.
Imogen, relax. We've traveled 3 days across this country to help you. No one's going to leave you behind. But we need to hear what the man says.
Unfortunately, I have no choice but to tell you. Because if this thing isn't taken care of, it could grow. You see, we can't just kill Imogen, because... whoever kills him becomes infected with the spirit itself. This spirit feeds off of death. Not pride, not greed, not anger. Death. And so, what would feed a malevolent spirit more than to kill its host? No, we'll have to be more clever. Now, that forest that you came from, Imogen, you recognize it as where your parents came from. You know where that is.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, it's been a while, but yeah, I can get there.
Well, then show me. On a map.
Well, hold on, Dorian. You're saying that you entered the Fade, you connected, and this being brought you to this place, and yet it reeled back from the obelisk that was in the clearing next to these woods, correct?
Imogen, is that what happened?
Well, that's what you just told us.
It reeled back? That was...
The creature within you was being pained when you approached the obelisk. Didn't you say that?
Yes.
Is that not what happened?
Was it
That's
not
it.
courage?
Just Dorian didn't know about that part.
Oh, sorry. Well, my point is, for a second, let's assume that this creature that has its grips on you, Imogen, is more powerful than any of us. It would stand to reason that it's also very clever. So if it were to impose an image in your mind that it's reeling back from this obelisk, could it not be that it wants us to seek out this obelisk? Perhaps staying away is the answer. If I needed something, reverse psychology gives us the idea that all I have to do is make you not want to give it to me for me to find it.
Perhaps. And I see the logic in that.
Hmm.
But I
Overall-
feel like the fear I felt, the fear that this creature expressed was real.
Yes. It definitely did feel very real to you.
Mm.
But Dorian sees where you're coming from. I would be thinking the same thing. But Imogen does say that it really felt real. But also,
To me, I feel if Imogen was afraid, or even the thing inside him, you need to face that. It's not something you can avoid and run away from.
I was trying to, it wouldn't let me. I tried to get closer. It stopped me in my tracks.
Then you must best it and defeat it.
there are occasionally physical objects that tie demons into the world. Relics of sort. And if they are destroyed, then the demon is destroyed with it. Now, I can't imagine it's that simple. But I do feel that this might be the source where this demon came into the world.
This relic you speak of,
Yes.
So we could
are you
send it
talking
back?
about a relic? Do we know of a relic, or are you talking about the obelisk?
I'm talking about the obelisk. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like if this being, which is in control of you, brought you to those spots. Excuse me.
It's raining out.
It gives me a dreary cold, I'm afraid. If it brought you to that spot in your mind, I think it might be a trap. I feel like I would do the same. And if I can think about it, why not a malevolent creature that claims to be a god? Why would it not think the same? I'm not saying that we don't investigate. I'm saying that are there no other options?
Grinner, if Imogen says that he had a struggle to get there, it seems that this god or demon, whatever it is trying to keep him away. To me, that says that's his vulnerability.
Maybe it's that easy, and I hope it is.
You're right, though, Grinner. This should be approached with caution, and at the very least, it should be investigated. I do not know where this forest is. Imogen seems confident. I'm curious to know where you came from, Imogen. Which forest?
With respect, and I turn to Imogen, I say, perhaps this is something that only the three of us should share for now. Dorian, I understand to trust you, and Renner, I trust you as well, but if this is something that Imogen needs to work with, I think Penthan, myself, and him should be the only ones to know.
Very well. So you will work together on this. You will figure this out?
Of course. Imogen is our brother.
And he eyes you up once, and same with Penth. And I don't think it'll be enough. Renner, as much as these two men look like they can look after themselves, and Imogen is a powerful mage, but in his condition, if that thing comes back in the next few days, which it very well, it will. I don't
And
think
the more time we
just three
start,
of them will be enough.
More
You don't
time we
think we're
waste
fucking
standing around.
enough? Why don't you shut your fucking gob? We're working under ourselves, you fucking prick.
I'm being realistic.
Well, why are you fucking...
Yeah, but we're wasting time. We should be going now.
You're right. And Renner says, yes. And last I heard, there was an angry mob out front that wanted to speak with me and wanted
they're
to hang
good.
you. So you should. What?
They're gone. They don't like me very much, but they're not going to be bothering you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a relief. I was thinking that was going to be something that I have to tell you guys, and it'd be add to the conflict now, and it would make your escape into the night much more dramatic. But no, okay.
Well, you pay us to solve problems, not create them.
That's right.
And
Okay.
you will pay us for this, no?
Oh, of course, I will pay you.
I mean, I don't know what dog you have in this fight, but you probably should pay us for some reason to help Imogen. To what end, I don't know. But...
If we don't save Imogen, he's going to turn into a crazy, destructive power.
True, but that should just
Exactly.
be our own motivation, not paid, right?
Panther needs to make the money.
Hey, I want the money too. I'm just saying.
I am going to pay you. Yes. Now,
Good.
unfortunately, the way things have been lately, I have been a bit strapped for cash, and I'd appreciate it if no other houses heard about that, because that could kind of be.
Can I just take
suicide.
this?
As I'm eating like a French lamb chop.
Can I just steal these paintings on the wall of Bishop Alexander? They fetch like 200 gold apiece. I'll just take a massive painting off the wall.
We'll take our payments and paintings. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, you guys can do that if you want. They'll keep the
No,
gold
I
pieces. You guys take them through the pouring rain.
It's literally what I do in
Try to sell them.
Divinity Original Sin.
Oh yeah, that's
I
true.
just take the paintings and sell them.
I will pay you. I do have all I have right now is 6 gold pieces and 50 silver pieces. So that's all I have. Literally, I'm sending servants to go into the city to the east to fetch more of my gold from one of the banks there. But this is all I have on me at this moment.
We can wait, but there's a dog outside. What's his name? A very strong-looking warhound.
Oh, the Mabari, yes, Faust.
Faust. Oh, I love that name. Could we bring him with us?
Well, between you and me, he's the best guard I have. But obviously, this is more important than my own safety. So, yes, you may take him with you.
Does he have a call sign or something that I would know animal handling? Like the warhounds would probably have some sort of like trigger word or whatever, right?
He's a brilliant dog. He'll be able to understand you pretty much whatever you say, but he does have some key commands. And I'm going to share something with you guys.
A fart?
Yep, farts. He farts in your face. Find it. Oh, Dropbox not found. Okay, I'm just going to share it for now.
Sure.
Screen share, and then I'll send it to you guys after. So this is Faust. Oh, how do I screen share again? That one. So, as you can see, he has a variety of talents and powers. He can sit, he can come, he can fetch, roll over, play dead, lie down, stay, attack, and track. These things he can do very well. If you want to get him to do something more complex, you're going to have to roll animal handling. But
Which I have anyway.
Which you have anyways. Depending on the complexity, you'll have to have a higher roll. In terms of his health, he's a bit squishy, but he's relatively strong with his bite.
A bit
Is that the new term? Yeah, is that the new term? Just squishy?
Squishy, yeah.
That's right there.
So there you go. This is Faust, and you can take him along with you.
Definitely will. And I do turn to him and say, I also have a friend in Orlais, Carath. Do you recognize the name at all? I might have to look.
It's actually Carthus.
Sorry, Carthus. Carthus.
I don't, unfortunately. You say he's a mercenary?
I didn't say anything, actually.
You didn't
Why
say
do you
anything?
know?
I just assumed.
He was a Templar friend of mine. I knew him from my Chantry days. He's a sellsword. He's likely in a tavern if I know him well enough.
Well, if I encounter him at any point, I will let him know that you are nearby.
Well, I'll take a search for him. I think I know a few taverns he might be stopping into. So
okay. Well,
he would be another sword for us. And I turn to Penth and I say, not that we need it, but if this is some sort of trap, all the more that can fight alongside us would be beneficial.
If I could pitch in, I don't know this Carthus fellow, but if I were him and I was a sellsword, I'd probably be in Val Royeaux.
And I lean in to talk to Grinner. I say, Grinner, is against our ways to hire mercenaries. We work as mercenaries. It's wrong.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. At the very least, we can talk to him and see what he's up to, and if he has any advice. Again, he's a mercenary himself. Maybe he knows something of the woods. I don't know. I just know he's a good contact.
Now, Val Royeaux, I don't know if anyone heard me, but I did suggest that as being a good place to start your investigation.
Yes, where is Val Royeaux?
Just to the north of here, across the shining sea. You'd have to take a ferry across, but it should be morning soon as I look up at the ceiling, because that'll tell me something. And you'll be able to cross. Someone will take you across. But I also think that it would be important for you to find a mage to bring along with you. Imogen, you are powerful, but if this thing does awaken soon, you will need someone who has the ability to go in and put it back to sleep if you are going to make it to whatever forest you need to.
So are you suggesting, Dorian, because no offense, Runner, but the last guy that you had come along as your partner didn't work out so well?
With respect to Dorian, I think we'll find a mage that we know.
Oh yes, no, I as much as the matter is important, I have other things to attend to. Very important things.
I'm sure you do.
Yes. Well,
guy just doesn't like being denied.
But I do encourage you to research. Find out exactly where you're going first, because the longer you delay, if you do travel out and find that you go to the wrong forest, that'll be a great waste of time.
No,
and time is something that, Imogen, you don't have, quite frankly.
Is there anything else in Val Royeaux that would be a benefit to us?
Well, the bustling streets will make it easy to hide in plain sight. Sticking to one of these... Hiding? Well, this boy is an apostate. He's not registered into the circle.
Right.
So you want to avoid the chantry as much as possible. Now, it just so happens that the Val Royeaux is the sitting ground for the head of the chantry. So just as long as you avoid the chantry district, you should be fine.
Val Royeaux is a very, very fancy place, is it not?
It's the biggest city. It's one of the biggest cities in all of Thedas. It is the pinnacle of culture. Picture.
I don't know. And I turned to Penth and myself and I said, I don't know if in our current garb we would be suited, but I think if it's necessary, we could find a way in.
You're about my size, Gunnar. Penth, I can't say the same for you, but Gunnar, I could give you something.
It might be a benefit. I'm trying to draw a line. I turn to Imogen and I say, Imogen, you know a good idea of where these woods would take us. But I don't think that should be our first course of action. Obviously, we should find more about this obelisk. Or does anyone else have a suggestion of where we should tackle? It seems like we could be following a different path, but I don't know what the next... in Dorian's mind would.
I know many of the Amir that get hired do go to this city that you speak of. I've heard the name before as armed guards. Perhaps if you do wear a different dress, Grinner, I could accompany you in that fashion.
Oh, of course. I think we should move together, all three of us. Dorian, where do you suggest or Renner, where do you suggest we head first?
Oh, well, to be perfectly honest, I would rather you speak to no one at all. I don't have too many good contacts in Val Royeaux, believe it or not. I tend to keep to myself. I'm living in this city for a reason, in Lydes. I don't really like Val Royeaux. People there are stuffy, so if you know anyone, that would be probably much better because they'd be working with you.
Fair enough. Well, it seems at the moment, at least, it's not necessary to even travel there. So let us speak with Imogen, find out exactly where this forest may be, plot a course. And again, I think it's best if only the three of us know where we're heading, in case something should happen. To you guys, tortured. Where's the kid?
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at.
All right. Well, that is fine. That does make sense. Well, if that'll be all, then I guess I'll be on my way. It's been a long day, but I think I can make a few hours down the road. Grinner, Penth, thank you for joining us and agreeing to do this. Imogen, behave yourself. He stands up and he walks out of the room.
Guy looks a lot like Brandy Jack. And I turn to Imogen and I ask Renner to excuse us for a moment. Just a moment.
And he gets up, he says, I'll get your gub.
And I turn to Imogen and to Penth, I guess. I assume we're sitting at a table or something, so I stand up and I walk over to the other side of the table just to kind of pace around as we think out loud and say, all right, so if I'm following this correctly, Imogen, you have a spirit inside you, and it's a very powerful, very dangerous spirit that feeds on death. And we are theorizing that destroying this obelisk, or at least reaching this obelisk, could destroy it, thus saving you. Are we all on the same page about this?
Yes.
So then our goal is to find the forest. Do you have any way of knowing where that is, Imogen? Speak up, boy. You're not muted. You have a voice. I know you're dry and hoarse with water, but
I need to look at maps. It's been a while. I remember landmarks.
all right. Well, then let's do this. Let's stay here the night. It'll be useful if those men should return anyway. We'll eat, we'll rest, we'll speak with Imogen, we'll look over maps and see if we can't decipher exactly where the forest should be.
That sounds like a good reason thinking.
Okay. And I turn to Imogen and I say, and Imogen, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, Grinner and Penth.
We jump in and high five in the air.
And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much for being here with us on this Wednesday night. It is always such a blast. It is always such a blast to hang out with you guys, to be doing this for you guys. And again, I hate to get sentimental, but 2 years of doing this, and we are loving every campaign, every game, every, I want to say issue, but I guess it's episode. So please, if you are enjoying this, like, share, and send it to your friends, tweet, do all that kind of stuff. We don't advertise. We don't make you watch videos. We don't do anything other than asking for likes and stuff like that. And I know even that can be, but when you share it and do stuff like that, we don't have to advertise, because we want a lot of people to hang out and join the Facebook group and do all that kind of stuff. So if you like this, if you enjoyed this, comment, share, and just spread the word, sort of like you played a game or you're hanging out with buddies and you're like, hey, I really like this. And you share the information, old school sharing style. So please, if you liked it, share it. Thank you so much to Justin for running this. Fantastic job.
My pleasure.
Great first episode. Again, thank you guys for watching. I had a great time. That's all for me.
I had a great time for sure. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. You guys played wonderfully.
You inspire us. All right. Have a great night. And as Chris always likes to say,
We'll see you around the table.
we'll see you around the table, guys. Good night.
Good night.